Good morning and welcome to our 127th weekly webcast. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way the call works is this is an AMA, meaning you can ask me anything. You can ask me business questions. You can ask me career questions. You can ask me personal questions. And the call is 3 hours long. And what my wonderful staff does is within a few hours of the call being completed, they update the description field of this call so that you can get immediate access to clickable time codes so I can help you get access to my humble answers to your questions very, very quickly. Now, I've changed the studio around a little bit here. What we're doing is we're doing a video shoot. I'll show you just the side angle here. This is not a production angle, and I've got a prop here. I'll show you why in a minute. I didn't steal this. I bought this. But what I'm doing actually is I'm putting up one of those projector screens in the back here. And that projector screen is similar to how they filmed The Mandalorian. So when you're doing special effects, and I still have a heck of a lot to learn about this stuff, it's all new to me, but when you're doing special effects, you can either use a green screen behind you, or you can actually have a video playing behind you. And so what they've done on The Mandalorian, that great television show on Disney Plus, the Star Wars one, is they've pioneered a new process whereby they don't use a green screen or a blue screen behind you. What they do is they have a short throw projector that projects a film behind you. So I'm going to start experimenting with this. I'm going to gut all this. This will be gone very, very soon. I'm pushing the goalpost out, as we say in Canada. It's not out. Pushing the goalpost out and trying to do something different. So hopefully it works out well. I'm always experimenting and making many mistakes. Yeah. All right. And the problem with doing green screen or blue screen, especially for me, especially green screen, is I have my color of my eyes are green. I have to thank my mom for that. Thanks, Mom. I love you. But because of that, it's tough for me to ever do green screen. All right. So I'll take your questions in a second. Why am I holding a stop sign? What is this? Well, this is a prop I have for my MBA degree students. And if you're interested in learning more about my MBA degree program, my courses, you can go to that link there in the bottom. But this is one of the many props I have for my students when I teach. And I bought it because quite often we overthink things. And I'm teaching my students right now how to create financial models so they can find the target price on stocks they do research on. And when we do financial modeling, and finance is very different from accounting, but when we do financial modeling, it's more of an art and less of a science like accounting. And so I always tell my students to stop overthinking when you're forecasting the future. And I make it very simple and fun and hopefully somewhat engaging as well, and edutaining, meaning entertaining and educational when we come up with the target prices. I also have this because there's something else I want to talk about today, which is we have to stop giving a damn what people think of us. And what I'm going to do, and this is what YouTubers do. I'm trying to be a YouTuber. I've vlogged almost 1,000 days in a row, but I'm going to point to it because when you point, you then you pause the screen, and then that's where you get the thumbnail image. So give me 1 second. I'm going to smile, my cheesy smile. All right. But we tend to really overthink things. And I want you to stop giving a damn what people think of you. I want you to stop caring about or worrying too much about career risk, because there's certain things you can't control. And for me, I am a religious person. I make a lot of mistakes, but I don't worry when it comes to career ever, because I tell myself God already knows what's going to happen, which puts me at ease. And there's a couple of great quotes I put on here. One is by Dale Carnegie at the top there, and it says, "Our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry." It's so true. Another quote in the bottom there is George Bernard Shaw said, people become attached to their burdens, sometimes more than the burdens are attached to them. And let me finish off this thought process with a great quote from Sir Winston Churchill. He once said, I once met a man on his deathbed who talked about all the worries he had had in his life, none of which came true. So as Dale Carnegie said, we have to stop worrying and start living. And Dale Carnegie, who's brilliant, and please read his book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's the best business book and personal relationship book ever made. And without that, we wouldn't have successful people like Tony Robbins, or they'd be successful, maybe not as successful. Dale Carnegie created the industry. And Dale Carnegie also wrote a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And he talks about living in day-type compartments, meaning living one day at a time and not worrying about the past, and don't worry too much about the future, what you can't control. Okay, so just stop worrying, start living, starting today, and don't give a damn what people think of you either, please. If we spend all of our, and I'm talking to myself in hindsight, if we spend all of our time focused on what people think of us, we'll never have time to love people, and we'll never have time to enjoy our life, and we'll never have time to reach our full potential in life either. Now, the most successful entrepreneurs, they don't give a damn what people think of them. They never did, ever. They have this whole carpe diem or seize the day mentality. They just don't care. And that's why they're successful. One of the many reasons they also have positive attitudes as well. Now, if you think about it, think about a professional athlete, or think about Elon Musk, or think about Oprah Winfrey, or anybody that's hit it big. If they care what other people think of them, like Oprah cared what billions of people would think watching her on television, or if Elon Musk cared what everyone thought about his awesome tweets and the fact that he has crazy, awesome ideas, like let's talk about colonizing Mars in the future today, then these people would not be nearly as successful, right? And the same thing with athletes. Imagine an athlete up there about to take a shot, like Seth Curry, who's great, I love the guy, or LeBron. If they gave a damn what people thought of them in the audience watching, they would never reach their full potential in life. It's true. The same thing with all entrepreneurs. You got to live at a level where you just don't give a damn what people think. I'm going to be me. I'm going to live my life my own terms. I'm going to reach my full potential, and I'm not going to care what anybody thinks. Because if you care what other people think, again, you'll never reach your full potential in life. And so in closing, Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So just be you, just do you. Okay, good morning. Time for questions. Now, what I've done today is I changed this as well a little bit. I found that last week when I was talking, my S's were more pronounced. And so I talked to the company that makes this thing. It's called Countryman, this headset. Oh, I didn't brush my hair properly back there. Sorry. And this is the same one that Tony Robbins uses. And I've got a new adapter on it now. So let me know if you want to, a little bit of feedback, if the S's are as pronounced as they've been in the past. Okay, here we go. Question time. It's all about you. Here we go. All right. First question is from Kardik. I'm trying to drink a whole thing of water like this every day. All right. First question here is from Kardik. He's saying, hey, Chris, hope you're well. Likewise. I applied for a job recently and I got an email from Human Resources for a test. I cleared the test and now I'm waiting for a call. How long does it usually take to receive a call? Yeah. So I would give it a couple weeks at least. Give it 2 or 3 weeks before calling back. And if you've ever been interviewed by somebody and you haven't heard back in a week or two, then rather than sending an email saying, hey, what's going on with my candidacy? I want you to send an email and talk about something in that email you spoke about during your interview, or try to add value some way by sharing an article or an investment idea if it's a finance interview. And just remember, people are always motivated in business by 3 things. They want to make more money, they want to get promoted faster, and they also want to enjoy their job or career. So if you can help them with one of those 3 in that email and in all meetings with them and in interviews as well, from a give and receive mentality, then I think you'll do quite well. And so, for example, the email might be something along the lines of this. Subject line is hi, and the message is this, for example. Joanne, It was great meeting with you 2 weeks ago, semicolon. I enjoyed our conversation. Per our conversation, I'm going to make this up. Per our conversation about 4K rendering of videos in outer space. I don't know if you saw this, but here's a great 4K 360-degree video from the rover on Mars. It's unbelievable. It's amazing what Elon Musk is trying to do as well in terms of sending rocket ships up there. I'm rambling there, sorry. Then next paragraph, you can say this. Please let me know if you have any thoughts on my candidacy or what the next steps might be, Chris. And you don't even need to put that last part, because when she receives that email, she'll know, oh, I should get back to this person. Yeah. So always add value, give and you'll receive. It's been prophetic and true since the beginning of time. Okay, follow up here from Kartik is, how should I reply to an email of a test link when what I received was already 2 days have passed since I received it? I'd give it a week or two always, okay? Yeah. And what you can also do is call the person during business hours so that hopefully they can pick up and you can talk to them live. And by the way, if anybody doesn't get and I'm trying to get rid of the shadows in the back there, sorry. If anybody doesn't get a job that they applied for, you get a rejection email or letter, whatever it is, you have the right to ask them why, right? Just don't send an email saying, why didn't I get the job? Because people are scared about what to put in an email when we respond to that stuff from an HR perspective. What you can do is call them. Don't leave a voicemail. Get them live, okay? And when you get them live, just thank them, of course, for the opportunity, and then ask them, can you humbly please provide me some feedback? I'd love to know how I can improve. And they'll give you feedback, right? Hopefully, if you get them live. Yeah. All right. Your time's important too. Okay. Next question is, any tips for a phone interview? And what kind of questions do they ask in a phone interview? Yeah. So what you can do if you want to is take my MBA degree program. I teach you how to do a lot of interview tactics. Or you can take one of my courses called the Complete Job Course by going to this link right here. But when it comes to a phone interview, it's a lot easier than an in-person interview and a lot easier than a Zoom interview because you can have a bunch of notes in front of you. In fact, what I used to do when I would talk to potential customers on the phone, and that was kind of like an interview, was I had a spreadsheet of a couple hundred rows. And I had a filter set up, and I was ready to hit Control F or Command F to do a quick search on anything they asked me about. So what you can do is you can anticipate what questions they're going to ask you, put it in a spreadsheet, and it's quite easy to navigate in real time. Yeah. Now, when you're being interviewed, whether it's on the phone or Zoom or in person, I want you to use structured logic and transition words to buy you time. Let me explain what that means. So what that means is, and I refer to them with my students as crutch words. So kind of like when you hurt your leg, you have a crutch to fall back on. And those crutch words are as follows. In terms of, moving on to, the next topic is, and the bottom line is this. So if you find yourself rambling, like I do sometimes, and I have today in this webcast, the bottom line is throw in a conclusion right there so you don't keep rambling. Okay. And there's a lot of different frameworks I provide you with in my MBA degree program as well. I give you an arrow of quiver, so to speak, so that you can tackle any business problem and any type of interview as well. As Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, every battle is won before it's been fought. All right, let me grab my water here. My coffee. I love coffee. Sometimes I'll go to bed and I'll think to myself before I fall asleep, I can't wait to wake up to have my coffee. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. This is my vice. I get one of these every day. Next up, I've got Dario. Dario, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Dario is based in Italy. Dario is saying, hi, Chris. Every Thursday, it's a great Thursday when you're here live. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for making this possible, too. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, I love my students. And then Dario wrote here, as you probably know, recently there's been big hype about non-fungible tokens. I'm curious, but honestly, I don't know how to know more about it. What are your thoughts about it? Yeah, that's a great question. And Jean Marco, who's one of my video editors, told me to talk about this today as well. The best way for me to answer that from a generic perspective is with any investment you make, whether it's in a commodity or real estate or a stock or anything, or crypto or an NFT, you got to look at supply. Okay, so with virtual products, you have to make sure that there is a limit on supply. And one of the reasons that a separate topic that cryptocurrencies are in vogue, so to speak, today, they're popular, is because there's no limit on how much governments can print when it comes to paper money, which is called fiat. So if you're looking at virtual tokens or virtual products, just make sure you understand if there's a limit of supply or not. And my grandfather, God bless him, used to always tell me, Chrissy, buy land. They're not making it anymore. So whatever asset class it is, whether it's an NFT or anything, just make sure that there's a limit on supply and that you thoroughly understand that. So for example, with cryptocurrencies, with Bitcoin, for example, there is a limit on supply. There will never be more than 21 million crypto or Bitcoins created by the year 2140. That's a mathematical fact. So there's a limit on supply. Make sure you understand that for every virtual item you look at investing in. And it's interesting because my kids, they used to play Clash of Clans. I still kind of play it a little bit. Builder Hall 13 now is what I've got. But they used to play it, and they used to say, Dad, you can sell. You can make a Clash of Clans account, make it awesome, and then sell it. And that was kind of a foreign concept to me for a while, but now I thoroughly understand that, right? But the reason that works out quite well, buying other people's Clash of Clans ID on eBay, for example, there's a big business for this. The reason it works is because there's a dearth of supply. There's only one village like that made that one person is selling. Level 13 or whatever it might be. I'm a nerd, okay? I still play video games. I love it. I love it, yeah. All right, and dude, it is freezing in here. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons also, like, so cash is trash, and we know that, cash is one of the worst investments you can make because you have no, you have no say in terms of how much governments are going to print when it comes to cash. And that's one of the reasons why baseball cards, Pokemon cards my kid collects, as well as comic books have gone up a lot in value. And the same thing with virtual stuff as well. Yeah, so always look at supply. Always, always, always. Okay, next up, Dario wrote, thank you as always for being awesome. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for being awesome. And then you wrote, P.S. Do you practice meditation? I've seen that it's helping me a lot with everything. Yeah. So I do a different type of meditation, which is every day before I get out of bed, I thank God for 10 different things in this order. I practice gratitude. And those 10 things are Andrew, Matthew, Dylan. Those are my kids, Christine, my wife, my mom, my dad, my brother, Jamie, my sisters, Elizabeth and Katie, and then my students, 10. You. Thank you. Thank you. So that's kind of my form of meditation. Yeah. And also you'll notice here that in my office, I actually don't have a chair anymore. And this is just a side angle of view, not a production angle. I don't have a chair anymore. And what I did actually was I got rid of my chair because I got complaints from people watching. Where am I? Over here, watching this webcast. They said, Chris, you sound tired. And it wasn't just one complaint. It was a couple. And one data point doesn't make a trend, but a couple does. And so I realized that, as Tony Robbins says, motion creates emotion. And when I used to teach during the evenings in universities, I would have thousands of steps by the time I was done teaching because I moved around a lot. And when I gave keynote speeches, I felt humbly it was more engaging than me sitting down and presenting because motion creates emotion. So I got rid of the chair. There's no chair in this office. There's no chair. And if I want to do a picture in picture there to discuss the screen, I just click a button, wrong button, sorry. This one here, And then I'm down here just for my crappy camera on the side here, and this is where I do all my screen work as well here. But no more chair, never again. I will never have a chair in my office. You'll never see me sitting again, ever. There you go. Oof. Okay, I guess I can't sit anymore now. All right. Next up, Keith wrote, good morning, Chris. Good morning. Or actually, it's Kevin. Sorry. God, that was a senior moment. The older I get, the better I was. Yeah, I'll make the font size bigger next week. Kevin Hawthorne said, good morning. Good morning to you too, Kevin. Next up, we have Mercy. Oh my goodness, Mercy, how are you? So Mercy was one of my students last year, my MBA program. I haven't heard from her in a while. She lives in Victoria, the West Coast, right? I think, yeah. And she's great. Her brother's an investment banker, lives in New York or Connecticut. And you had an interview with Gib A, which is the ticker for CGI, Canadian technology company. Last time we talked, last year I think it is. But Mercy wrote here, Chris, thank you very much for this platform and for all you do to inspire us to live our full potential. Thank you for allowing us to learn from you in so many ways. Thank you, Mercy. And it's a pleasure to hear from you again. Mercy started an amazing company. She started this yoga company on the West Coast in Canada that's actually sponsored by Lululemon, which is great, And I hope you've been able to do a lot of Zoom yoga stuff too as well lately. Great to see you as always. Okay. Next up, Carlos is saying, hi, Chris. Many thanks for the weekly webcast. I've been diving into cryptocurrencies recently, and I found some interesting projects. I was wondering what your take was about DeFi, that's DeFi, and staking on the blockchain. Yeah, I don't know what that is, DeFi. If that's a cryptocurrency, I've not done the research, but you can take my complete cryptocurrency course by going to this address here, as I provide you with 49 steps on how to analyze any cryptocurrency, so that the likelihood of you getting scammed goes down a lot. Now, I have to put this out there. There's been somebody out there pretending to be me on certain social media accounts, and if any of you, any of my students here have been asked to send money in or to contact a certain WhatsApp number, please don't reply to that. That's not me. Okay. And I am working with the authorities to crack down on that. We think we might have identified the person. We just don't know yet. Actually, we have identified the person. So if you're watching, I'm Liam Neeson. I'm coming for you. Yeah. I will find you. Yeah. All right, and you got to be careful with cryptos because, and let me show you who this Putz is, okay? And I've got the police involved, and we have detectives and everything involved as well to get this prick. But I have to go there, so hold on one second. All right, and this is the treadmill, by the way, I use below my desk. So if you go to YouTube, and I blocked this guy so he can't be found anymore. But if you go here, I'll show you. So YouTube Studio, and anytime you look at a video on YouTube, and I've got humbly the number one YouTube cryptocurrency course online or video. If you search for cryptocurrency course anywhere in the world, mine will come up first. But I find here that they're all being held for review. Like, see here on the right, this is the cryptocurrency course. There's so many unethical people out there trying to scam you. So many people asking for your phone number. It's ridiculous. So I'll show you this Putz. So right here, his name, it looks just like me. See this? It looks just like me. He's saying, contact me on WhatsApp at that number there, right? So anyway, yeah, so do not contact that person. I've asked you to take down that account. They've not taken it down yet. Hopefully they do. This is not me, okay? This is not me. This is somebody pretending to be me. It looks exactly like my YouTube channel. Just be careful. This person doesn't have any videos up either, but if there's somebody out there that looks like me and asks for your number, do not respond. It's a scam, and I am working closely with YouTube to shut this down. YouTube has done a good job holding all of messages from that person. We do have his IP address as well. We know exactly where he's located at this point. I can't say much more, and I probably said too much right now. Okay. But if he's watching, I'm sure he's terrified. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And I'll share much more details with you later because I want to help out my students. And I have one of my MBA students that got scammed by $15,000 through a cryptocurrency scam as well. It disgusts me that people are that awful in the world when it comes to lying and all that stuff. So anyway, just be careful. And don't ever invest in anything, please, unless you're given an investor offering memorandum. Okay, very, very important. Don't like it's with an IPO, it's called an S1. Read it. With an ETF or a mutual fund, you can get an investment prospectus. Read it. If you're going to invest in a startup, a private company, you should get an investment offering. Read it. Hire a lawyer to read it as well. Just be careful of scammers out there on the internet. Okay. And it's been fun to nail this prick. And we got him. We got him. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Next up, and I'll share it with you exactly how we got this person. Okay. In a future webcast, not today, but it's been a duck hunt or manhunt, duck in his case, whatever. He's not a real person. So anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent on that, but I love my students, and when somebody tries to impersonate me to try to get money from you, it's ridiculous. Yeah. What does this world come to? Okay, moving on. All right. And please don't put your entire fortune in cryptocurrencies. Do your research first and just watch out for scammers. All right. Next up here. Sorry for going off on a tangent there. But that's something that bothers me when somebody pretends to be me and scams my students who I love. All right. Next up. Next question. Mercy is saying, as we know, people who are authentic and brave in real time provoke authenticity and bravery in others. You've allowed us to witness and learn authenticity from you. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Mercy, and God bless you. God bless you. Yeah. And my mom was born in Vancouver. Yeah. I know you're from Victoria, though. Thank you. God bless you. Okay. Next up, we've got Diana, who's saying, hey, to what extent does it make sense to pay high fees for a basic degree at a university, a very basic degree just after high school? Does that make sense? And then you wrote, thank you. Yeah, you're most welcome. So what you can do if you want to is before thinking about getting a degree, and I do respect universities, some of them at least, right? But I think universities are in secular decline. I think only 50 universities are going to exist by the time I pass away, 8 million years from now. I think more people are going to learn online, and people are going to think to themselves, gosh, I'm only going to go to university if I get into a Harvard or an Oxford or whatever heck it is. So what I would do is this. Before going to university, just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this, right? So for example, with an MBA, you might ask yourself, why do I have to get an MBA? Is it because I want to get a better job? Okay, but hold on. Then what I want you to do before you go and get an MBA, which is a complete waste of money, it's $100,000 for, anyway, stuff that was relevant maybe last century. They don't teach you new stuff that's relevant. But before getting an MBA, I want to ask yourself why. And if the reason why you want to get an MBA or a graduate degree is because you want to be able to change careers, then what I want you to do is this first. I want you to set up 1,000 networking meetings to try to change careers. I know it sounds crazy, but pretend each of those meetings cost you $100. $100 times 1,000 meetings is $100,000. That's the cost of an MBA. Network like crazy to see if you can change careers. And let me get my book here. Hold on. And if you network like crazy and change careers, you don't need that MBA. But if you network like crazy and you can't change careers, then maybe consider getting the MBA or the graduate degree. In terms of how to network, I've got this book here on how to network, which I wrote. It's on my website. You can go to wrong pedal. I'm such an idiot. Sorry. Here we go. You can go to my website, harounventures.com, and download this book. on how to network. It's a couple hundred pages and several hours of clickable YouTube videos to help you change careers by networking aggressively, right? And so if you've tried to network aggressively and you still can't change careers, then what I recommend is consider going back to school. Yeah. All right. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Next up, Rudy. Hey, Rudy, how are you? Rudy, it's been a while, man. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think you're in the insurance industry and you started an insurance startup. I remember. I think I remember that. I haven't seen you about a year or two here. Let me know if I'm wrong, though, please. But Rudy wrote here. Good morning, Chris. Good morning to you as well. God bless. God bless you way, way more. I hope you and the family are doing great. We're great, thanks. Everything is good. The kids are still at home. I'm in a place called Hillsborough, California, close to San Francisco. Because of COVID, they're not in school yet, which sucks. Hopefully soon they can go. Yeah, it's hard. I got two boys that just started high school. It's an awful high school experience. Yeah. But we're healthy, thank you. And by the way, if anybody is dying to get or really wants to get a COVID a vaccine, and you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, and only do this if you're older, please. I haven't done it, and I will not. I'll be one of the last people to get it once everybody else gets COVID. That matters. I'm not in the front lines. But if you need to get a vaccine right now, or if you have a loved one that's older, every day around 5 o'clock. At long-term parking at San Francisco Airport, they give away 500 vaccines. You have to line up for it. Not many people know about it yet, but go for it, please, if you have a loved one that's older. And this is the way it works in a lot of big cities, actually, around the world, right? Because these vaccines can go bad if they're not administered quickly, and there's a bit of a supply glut in certain areas. So just do Google on it, yeah. But everybody is healthy with us, thank you, yeah. And then Rudy wrote, my question is, what would a financial analyst do with an insurance carrier? Okay, it is you. You started that company. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not an expert in insurance. If you can provide me with a little bit more color on that in your go-to-market strategy, I'll be able to humbly help you out. Thank you. Next question Rudy has is, do you believe that your MBA can help with that? And then you wrote, enjoying the MBA. Oh, you signed up for my MBA. Thank you. Enjoying the MBA tremendously. Thank you, Rudy. I appreciate that. Yeah. So let me know the question in a little bit more detail. But in my MBA degree program, we cover all major aspects of business. Most universities cover four main groups of topics. We cover the four main one, and also personal growth. Okay, and personal growth is for me to help you humbly achieve all of your goals in life. And let me show you a very quick excerpt of what I mean by that. This is a really short video. Give me 1 second here. Thanks. This will be great for me to take a quick little break too. Thank you. So we cover personal growth, and I help you accomplish much more every single day. I have a ton of different arrows in my quiver, so to speak, for you to be able to apply any framework to accomplish all of your business and personal goals as well, or your money back. The cost of my MBA degree program is about the cost of 1 hour at a traditional school. Yeah. All right. And by the way, on March 26th, I'm having an event where I'm going to offer a free course and talk a bit more about the program as well. There'll be free prizes for everyone March 26th. Put it on your calendar. I don't have the link yet. I'll provide it with you guys to you guys next week. Thank you. Okay, great. All right. Next question is from Srinivas. Hey man, how are you? And I had an intern named Srinivas Sundaralingam. Shri, we called him. Yeah, he was University of Waterloo when I worked at Accenture. He's out here in the Bay Area now, I think, too. But Srinivas wrote here, hi, Chris. What is your tip on dealing with competition or someone who performs better than you at work? How do we take the competitive environment positively and improve ourselves rather than giving up? Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So what I'll say is that the quality of your work when you work in a company does not dictate how much money you're going to make or whether or not you'll be promoted. I know it sounds out there, but hear me out on this, please. So when we're younger, we work very hard. We get good grades in school, keep our heads down, and our parents are proud of us. We're proud of ourselves, more importantly, and the teacher is happy with us, whatever, because we get good grades. Then you join the workforce, and you keep your head down, and you think you're doing a great job. And you look around, and you're like, oh my gosh, people are getting promoted faster than I am, and people are getting raises faster than I am. What is going on? This isn't fair to me at all. Why is that the case? Well, the real world is not like school. You don't just keep your head down and work hard and expect to get a raise or a promotion. You have to ask. You have to ask. And you need multiple mentors in your company. If you work at a big company, you need multiple mentors, okay? Multiple Yodas, so to speak, to tell you how the system works and how to get promoted and a raise. And the best mentors you can get are usually is your boss's assistant. I know that's different, not what you're expecting to hear. Well, think about it. Your boss's assistant, he or she, has worked with their boss probably for a long, long time and have gone with them from company to company. They know how the system works, how the corporate culture works from your boss's perspective. Usually the culture of a team is set by whoever the boss is of that team, so to speak, or the founder of that company. And so you can seek mentorship from them as well on how to get promoted or how to get a raise. Another thing I recommend that we all do, and what I'm about to tell you will materially decrease the chances of you getting let go. So every 3 months, what I want you to do is I want you to ask for feedback. I want you to ask, how am I doing? Okay. And the time to do it is usually when your boss is in a good mood, and usually when you've just done something great and your boss congratulates you. You ask for a meeting. You're like, thank you, I appreciate that. Do you have time for a quick coffee or tea? Coffee, tea, me? What movie is that from? Harrison Ford's in it. Okay. Anyway, so you sit down with your boss. And you mention, something along the lines of what's positive about you working at the company, and be sincere about it. You can say, I really enjoy being a part of this team, and together we've accomplished a lot. But I wanted to ask you if this is true. It's really expensive raising a family, as you know, in this area, and I want to provide as much as I can for my family. And so I'd love to humbly ask you to tell me what I need to do in order to get promoted or a raise. In other words, what do I need to do to be able to add much more value to our team? And they'll tell you, okay? They'll tell you. And what you then do is, and you ask for feedback as well, okay? What you then do is the second that you've achieved all that criteria, and the next time your boss says something great about you, congratulations, yada, yada, and is in a good mood, you sit down with them, and then you ask for the raise. Okay, you ask for the raise. But you always want to do that. You want to ask for feedback every 3 months. How am I doing? How am I doing? And if you do that, the likelihood of you being let go goes down tremendously. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of how to be more competitive in the workplace, you can always take a lot of courses online. You can learn anything online now. Just go to Udemy's website or go to my website here if you want to learn business, etc. Yeah. And the great thing about online courses, if you take it from a reputable service, is there's a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. So you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You can take my program, including my MBA program, binge watch it within 30 days and get all your money back, 100%. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Next up is from Harsh. Harsh is saying, how do you build a work ethic? And how do you build a company by bootstrapping? Bootstrapping. Yeah, two questions there. So, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. And you know what I'm talking about. When you're doing a gazillion different things at the same time, you're very productive. And then when you are on vacation or not working for a couple of weeks, you don't even have time for some reason to exercise that day. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. And so I think the best way to have a wonderful work ethic is to schedule each day, and schedule each day the night before. Okay. I have an advanced system, premium system. I provide all my MBA students for free, of course, on how to schedule each day so they can be much more productive every day. But let me give you a more simplistic version of that as well. Put myself in the corner here. Nobody puts baby in the corner. What movie is that from, folks? All right. So if you want to access this scheduler, Harsh, what you can do is just go to my website, which is, and that's an old website. I hit refresh there. I've changed it. Yeah. Just go to my website, harounventures.com/schedule. Okay. Yeah. Schedule right there. All lowercase. And then what you can do is you can download this schedule template here. It works in PowerPoint, LibreOffice, any presentation software. Okay, and so you open it up here. Here it is here. Okay, and I have a yellow sticky there saying this is what I use. And I said you can right click and change this around completely if you want to. Okay, so let me start down here. And I promise you'll be much more productive if you do this. Okay, again, go to harounventures.com/schedule, all lowercase. And I have a premium version of this for my MBA degree students. So what I do is the night before, I'll schedule each day and what I'm going to be doing. Okay, and I schedule time for a walk as well as Steve Jobs used to do with Larry Ellison, his best friend. And you get a lot more stuff done when you go for a walk as well because you're releasing endorphins. I schedule time for the gym, family time, elliptical trainer, whatever it is. And I know I'm covering up part of this here. Okay. Then I do this the night before. And then these are big goals up here. And this is old for me. This is when I was creating a cryptocurrency course, a finance, whatever, other courses. And these here are just for me. Did I send out promotional emails, educational emails? Did I post something on LinkedIn, YouTube, that sort of thing? And this just to-dos, right? And then at the end of each day, what I do is this. And what I'm going to do is, let me just get my face off in the corner here. Okay. All right. Then at the end of each day, what I do is I score myself. Okay. So I'll take off maybe 5% for each meeting I didn't go to, or if I didn't exercise, 5%, that sort of thing. If I didn't spend time with family, take off 20%. And in the corner here, I mark it out of 100. Okay. And then up here, I also score myself. And this is very subjective. Okay. This is just me. Do what works for you. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll put my face back on the corner here. Okay. Then what I do is I'll put checks. I put God first. This is just me. Again, I wrote this little sticky here. You can customize this if you want to, okay? And then family. And then I put customers first. Did I not waste time on the internet? Did I not waste too much time on email? Did I get 20,000 steps in? This is just my BMI fat content. I have this little Omron monitor thing that I monitor I'm part of the whole quantified self movement. Did I wash my face twice a day? I won't go there. Did I plan my meals out accordingly? And I do that always. I have, there's no chair in my office, so it's tricky for me now. I do that on purpose. This is organic juice I prepare myself. This is in my blender. This is my bulletproof coffee. This is my water for the day. I have a ton of herbs and vitamins in my pocket as well. Did I plan everything the night before? Did I get 8 hours of sleep? That sort of thing. Okay. And then I try to see how many days in a row I can do this, right? So the first day is day one. I think my record is 30 days in a row. Don't do it on weekends. You'll drive yourself nutty though, please. Yeah. So the bottom line is if you download this, you go to harounventures.com/schedule, all lowercase. I promise you, you'll be much more productive because if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. This is what my kids look like, by the way, whenever they do a Zoom call or FaceTime with me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Okay. All right. Next up. Next question is, how do you grow a company by bootstrapping? Yeah. Yeah. So I have a great course called the Complete Business Plan course you can access right here. Okay. Where I teach you how to start a company with no money down. Okay. There's no strings attached there. There's a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. Okay. It's called the Complete Business Plan course. And one of the biggest problems when it comes to people starting a company is that they don't plan. And failing to plan is planning to fail. It's deadly. It's one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. And people don't plan. They just kind of wing it. They wing it. They go with their qualitative gut without looking at the quantitative aspects of the financial model of that startup. And so that course, the Complete Business Plan course, will help you tremendously. Now, when it comes to raising money, I never want you to use a bank, okay, ever, because banks are chicken. They are. I can't stand banks, right? The only time you should deal with a bank is two things. Number one, if you want to get a loan for education, if you need it, if you're going to expensive school. And number two, if you're buying a house, okay, a mortgage, that's it. Otherwise, when you start a company, if you use a bank, it's ridiculous because they're so chicken banks. If you miss one payment, they can take everything. And so please make sure, and I'm going to get down on my knees right now on this. I feel so strongly about what I'm about to say. Please, look how tiny I am. Please, if you're going to start a company, register the company legally. Talk to a lawyer because the bank can take everything from you. And if you get into one lawsuit for whatever crazy reason from a customer, they can take everything from you, your family, your possessions for your family, your house, etc. So please register first. Go to legalzoom.com if you want to. I'm not ever going to be promoting anyone else's products. I'm not sponsored. I'll never sell out ever. Okay. But the problem with loans is if you miss one payment, they can take everything. And so if you want to start a company, what I recommend doing is raising money from high net worth investors. Don't go to venture capital right away. Okay. Can you get meetings with venture capitalists? Yes, you can if you try. If you network a lot. But the problem is sometimes you go to these venture capital firms or these big endowments or pension funds and you get meetings and you're like, oh my God, I'm so money. Like from that movie Swingers. I'm getting these meetings. But the only reason you're getting meetings is because the analysts that work at those firms sometimes, they have to take 300 or 400 meetings per year. And so you're a checkbox. That's it. You always want to talk to the decision maker. Don't waste your time ever talking to anybody in a company that's not making the decision. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so when you're raising money, I recommend going to high net worth investors because the sales cycle is quite short. And they're investing in the jockey and not the horse. They're investing in you first and your business model second. And two more things I want to show you. The way to get these meetings, and I've raised and managed over $1 billion in my career. Just read this book, okay? And I'll teach you my secrets. It's free. Go to my website, harounventures.com. Couple hundred pages here on how to network. How to network at anything you want in life. Now, if you want to be able to start a company from scratch, you can go right here and either take my Complete Business Plan course, or what you can do is take my MBA degree program, because we do an enhanced version of that on steroids through what I call a venture capital boot camp as part of my MBA degree program in the entrepreneurship track. There's 5 tracks. Let me show you a very quick video of what that looks like. Okay, give me 1 second here. Thanks. I want you to be independent and happy in your career or in a company you start. However, as I mentioned, failing to plan is planning to fail. And one of the most stressful things in life can be starting a company. And I want to provide you with tools so that you can decide if you should start that company or not. Don't just jump right in and do it, okay? And the same thing if you work in a big company and you're going to start a new division. Don't just jump right in and do it. You have to plan a lot. And a lot of people will plan using qualitative frameworks or go with their gut. There's more to it than that. You have to plan using financial statements and forecast in the future as well, which I teach you in my MBA degree program as part of my venture capital bootcamp, and also my complete job course or complete business plan course, which you can access at this link here. Thank you. Okay, next up. Okay, next question is Marwan. Hey, Marwan, how are you? My best friend actually growing up into my 20s, a guy named Jason Denny, Dehni. His name was Marwan Denny. Yeah. Good guy. But Marwan is saying, hi, Chris. Thank you for doing this. You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. I have two questions. First, I'm a finance student. Can I get a mutual fund analyst position as an entry level, or I must pass by the research department first? Yeah. So the research departments, okay, so they're kind of the same thing. So equity research means research of stocks. Equity means ownership. Right. So whenever you hear the word equity, it just means ownership. Like when you own stocks in a company, you own part of the company. Okay. And so equity research is just a generic term. And equity research analyst is what an analyst is at a mutual fund that focuses on stocks. Okay. So the research department, that's kind of the same thing as saying a research analyst. So they're all one the same. Yeah. Okay. All right. And the best way to get there is to network and network aggressively. Yeah. And you can I have a course called the Complete Financial Analyst course, which you can access here. I also have another course called How to Pick Stocks by a Pro Investor, humbly, which you can learn about going here. And that will help you a lot with your informational meetings. Remember to bring templates as well, okay, which I teach about in my complete job course, or I teach about it in much more detail with updated versions in my MBA degree program at this link here. Okay, next up. All right, next question is from Marwan, who wrote, in addition to your wonderful courses, thank you, how can I develop my financial modeling skills? Yeah, so what I recommend is, so I always tell my MBA students this. I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink. And I say with love in my heart, you have to practice what I teach and what other teachers teach. It's not just me, right? Because as Tony Robbins said, repetition is the mother of all skill. And so I've had graduates of my MBA degree program that have made thousands and thousands of dollars by practicing financial modeling, okay? I provide you all the tools. And all you have to do is fill in the templates. I give you a gazillion templates or arrows in your quiver, so to speak, in the program. Now, the most important thing that I provide you with in the finance track, and there's 5 components of my MBA degree program, finance and accounting is one of them. The most important thing I provide you with is a 100-step Excel spreadsheet I provide you with that will help you do research on any stock. And the output of that is not only a bunch of nice charts and whatnot, but also a 150-page research report or a 1-page summary. Let me show you what that looks like really, really quickly. This is the finance and accounting track of my MBA program. Here's one of the tools I think will help you a lot. Next up, I've got Nilsa Santiago. She's one of my amazing MBA degree program students. And congratulations, Nilsa. Her daughter just got into Columbia University in New York. Congratulations. Yeah. And so Nilsa wrote here, hi, Chris. Love your Carpe Diem t-shirt. Reminds me of our wonderful classmate, Christina. Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm wearing it, actually. I want to show Christina today as well. We have MBA degree program office hours afterwards. She'll be on the call. But I got this. I'm trying to up my game and wear more professional or just more fun stuff, different stuff. The whole black t-shirt, Chris sitting down, is getting old, right? So I'm never gonna sit ever again in my office. There's no chair in here; it's gone. I have a walker here under my desk. And I'm changing a lot of things here. And by the way, before I go into Carpe Diem, which means seize the day, of course, in Latin, and a great Green Day song, I want to show you something I have up here. Okay, so we all need light, okay, in order to stay happy. And what I do, and this is a non-production angle I'm going to show you here on the side. Hey there. I leave this open during the day, right? This is just the door outside from my studio, so I can let sunlight get in, right? We all need sunlight, vitamin D, in order to be happy. Otherwise, you get depressed. And I get depressed, I do. But what I found is that you can get special lights, and I biohack and experiment a lot. Do what works for you, but let me introduce this concept to you. I have a special light I bought. It doesn't replace vitamin D at all, but it's special light, so I feel somewhat happy. And I find when I'm depressed at home sometimes, which doesn't happen often, but it does sometimes, and it happened recently. A lot of times, well, there's many reasons why, but sometimes it's because I don't have enough light. And so what I do is I bought this product here. It's called Miroco, Miroco, and I turn it on, and I have it on. It's a special light, and I'm sure it's placebo with some of the stuff I'm showing you too. And I can time it, right? So it can be on for an hour, 10 minutes, or forever, whatever. And you can make it brighter or less bright if you want to. It's not meant to go on the ceiling. I just have bars to the ceiling where I hang up stuff to keep it out of the way. It's got a stand on it's like on it looks like an iMac kind of a mini version with a stand. But I do that, which helps me. It helps me be happy as well. So anyway, that's that. In terms of Carpe Diem, yeah, I got this shirt. It's called Spiritual Gangsta. I know I'm an old man. It's silly. It's like me saying groovy, whatever, or quoting Billie Eilish or something. I'm an old man here, but Carpe Diem means seize the day in Latin. And one of our wonderful students, Christina, always says that Carpe Diem, seize the day. I love it. I love it. Again, it's a great Green Day song as well. Yeah, thank you. Okay, cool. All right, next up, Mamadou is saying, hi, Chris. I hope you're doing great with your family. Likewise. Is it the same cat that that ate your wedding ring in your public speaking course that you still have now? Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so funny you mentioned that. Yeah. No, that cat, unfortunately, is no longer with us. And that wedding video I took, and for those of you wondering, WTF, why the face? What happened was I got married on June 3rd, 2000 to Christine, my wonderful wife. And I pretended during the wedding, like when I got up to give a speech, I pretended that we couldn't find the ring. And so I showed a video of my brother and all my buddies we were chasing this cat because the cat ate the ring. It was funny, whatever. I had a good time with it. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Hassan is said here, sir, call me Chris, please. A few questions. Number one, I'm a teenager who loves writing, but my parents say that I should stop writing because it's not a job that brings money. They say that I should focus on studying. What should I do? Yeah. Oof. This is always a tough one for me because one of the 10 rules I live by which is the basis for many great religions, is to respect our parents. Yeah. But that being said, this is your life, not theirs. And I really do believe that if you just do career-wise what your parents want you to do, you might please them, but you'll never be happy. And they say when you have small kids, you have small problems, but when you have big kids, you have big problems. I would say do what makes you happy. Obviously, get good grades and whatnot, so you have a lot of doors open career-wise later. But this is your life. And as Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. This is your life. What's your why? What's your raison d'être? What's your purpose? What's your passion? What dent do you want to make in the universe, so to speak? What legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to serve and help others? Maybe it's through writing. And there's no reason that you can't write and continue to go to school and get good grades in general. But this is your life. This is your life. And don't do anything just for the money. Otherwise, if you chase money, you'll lose your money and your dreams. But if you chase your dreams, as long as you're willing to fail a bunch of times, and please fail a bunch of times, if you chase your dreams, not only will your dreams come true no matter what anybody tells you, but the money will follow accidentally. It always does. It always does. So let's talk about some great authors. Okay, so let me kick it off with John Grisham. Okay, so he wrote a lot of great law books. They made movies out of it, right? He was rejected like 20 times by 20 different publishers. Same thing with Agatha Christie. The same thing with C.S. Lewis. Remember The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe? And the same thing with J.K. Rowling as well. J.K. Rowling she was an assistant, single mother, poor thing. I don't think there's such thing as a deadbeat mother, but there are plenty of deadbeat dads out there. But she was a single mother, hated her job as an assistant, and she just couldn't get a break. And she was rejected 30 times. You're never going to make it big as a writer or in any career unless you're comfortable with failure and fail many, many times. And don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. Okay? Fail a lot, fail fast, but just keep chasing your dream. And something wonderful will happen. You'll wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I achieved this. But there's one thing I want to talk to you about, and all of you about, which is this. Okay, and I'm going to use a pretty fun metaphor, I think. I'll try this out. Okay. All right. Let's say you have this unbelievable dream. Okay. And the dream is to reach the top of the mountain. That's your goal. It's right there. I can see it. I can see it. There it is. And you're excited to embark upon this wonderful journey. And you start walking towards it, and the mountain's getting bigger, right? Because, you're getting closer to it. And, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at it. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And then one day what happens is you go this way, and you're confused, and then you're sad because you can't see your goal anymore. What happened to your goal, your life purpose? What is happening? I can't see the top of the mountain anymore. I can't see my goal. Well, the reason you can't see the top of the mountain is because you're right on the side of the mountain and you're so close to the top you can't see it. But rest assured, don't worry. You are getting closer to your goal. Along the way, you have to tell yourself, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail fast. This is my life, and I don't care what anyone thinks. Every great entrepreneur is like this. So Elon Musk is like this, right? Elon Musk, he never gave a damn what anybody thought of him. He didn't give a damn, ever. The guy started a company called The Boring Company, a flamethrower. Remember that? People thought it was ridiculous. So what? He's cool because he's just being himself. And I respect him for being himself. He's been talking for decades now about colonizing Mars. Cray. I know. But he doesn't care. And I love him for it. Because he's just being himself. In fact, if you just do you and you just be you, people are going to love you for being yourself. So we should never try to be somebody else or to, try to get into a career that you think is prestigious. You can impress other people. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer for a while. I went down to Harvard Law School like I'd ever get in. I read a book by Scott Turow called 1L, did all the research. And then I started asking myself, why do I want to be a lawyer? And I met with a lot of lawyers. And then I asked myself, do you become a jerk first, or does law school teach you how to become a jerk? I couldn't stand a lot of lawyers I hung out with, except for the civil rights ones. I love you. But you just got to do what you want to do and don't care what anybody else thinks of your goals. And as Les Brown, a great motivational speaker, said, someone else's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. You do you, you be you, you do what you want to do, and don't give a damn what anybody else says, because as Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. All right. All right. And Pratik is saying, hi, Chris. Good morning. How's your arm now? It's getting better. It's getting better. It's far from, it's getting a lot better, And I have a wonderful student. She's based in Beijing. Her name is Dion Vernon. And she's helped me out a lot. She's a doctor. She works for the Olympics. She's wonderful. Let me show you her LinkedIn profile, because I was going over it with her recently. But she helped me a lot with telemedicine remotely from Beijing. The world's a smaller place. Let me show you her LinkedIn profile, because it's incredible, and it's a model LinkedIn profile that we should all aspire to use. Okay, so let me show you this. Wrong pedal. Here we go. There we go. Missed me. Okay. So if we go to LinkedIn here, I'm going to show you what a great LinkedIn profile is. And so let's go to, there's Laura. She used to be my rep at Udemy. She's awesome. Dion Vernon, right here. Here we go. Okay, yeah. All right. So here's Dr. Dion. She's one of my MBA degree students. She's great. Let me just show you her profile quickly. We went through this in a lot of detail together recently. So you want to make sure that you have just a really cool picture up here. Try to have 3 layers. Okay, that's what makes a great picture. Okay, and I got this, I licensed it from Adobe Stock Images. Yeah, and that's the Amalfi Coast, of course. Okay, great picture. You always want to be smiling. A lot of people do a serious one. Don't do that. You want to be smiling. Okay, now you put down a number of different titles separated by a vertical line. And the reason is because this is the most searched field within LinkedIn by HR executive, human resources executives. Okay. Her write-up is amazing. When you do a summary write-up, you never want to have more than 3 sentences per paragraph. Okay. Ever. Okay. And you want to start and finish with something inspirational. So here's the end of it. The end of it is this. This is what she said. Something really amazing happens when we stop, confront, and own our pain and ourselves. We start to harness an incredible power called resilience. She wrote that. It's incredible. It's amazing. Yeah. But check this out. And you always got to leave. And by the way, when you write these things here, the summary section, your LinkedIn profile, you got to think like you're being introduced to, you're giving a big speech, and this is your bio, and someone's reading it. So let me read the first part really quickly, then I'll move on. Dr. Dion Vernon's career in education has always been at the intersection of liberal arts and sciences. In addition to working for the Olympic Committee globally, she also has extensive experience on Broadway with more than 10 productions, including The Lion King, Hamilton, Cats, and Chicago. And I asked her, did she do Les Miserables? She didn't. No. Awful. Les Miserables. Yeah. Okay. And here we have her work experience, all that stuff. Education. She's a doctor from a great university, Washington University School of Medicine. And then down here, and then I wrote, I wrote a recommendation for her as well. She didn't ask me to, but I wrote it for her. But she doesn't have enough recommendations. I told her you need 5 or 10 at least. Her interest, etc. Right. And so this is kind of a role model type profile right here. One of the most important things you can do, though, is come up with a great title for yourself here, because this is searched. And you got to create an amazing summary section. A lot of people don't write this. You got to do it, dude. You got to do it. And the first sentence is crucial. It's crucial. Yeah. So anyway, and I teach a lot more about this in my my MBA degree program as well. Okay. I have the best students, man. Okay. All right. All right. Next up, Shivansh is saying, "Hi, sir, watching from India. Chris, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." And no, Noman Islam. And I had a client named Noman Ali, actually at Manulife in Toronto. Great guy. Noman Ali. Great guy. Yeah, yeah. You wrote, no man wrote here, I like the lighting much better. Yeah, it is much better. Thank you very much to Matt Lacousse, my chief creative officer. And I'll show you what we did really quickly. So it's really hard to get the lighting perfect, even if you nail the white balance. And so I have a little monitor down here. This is behind the scenes, the messy part. I have a monitor here that shows waveforms as well, so you can get the perfect color. Because what happens is your cameras don't know what the color white is. That's why you have white balance cards, right? Because the color white outdoors is different than it is indoors. And also the color white all depends on what objects you have around you because light bounces, right? So there's such a crazy science to all this stuff, but I would be lost without Matt Lacousse, my amazing chief creative officer and partner. I gave him equity in my company, the only one. He more than earned it. All right. Great. Hey, Pratik, how are you? And then we've got Saketh wrote, "Hi, Chris. I have a question with respect to accounting career." Sure. Can you find any careers in accounting for me? Yeah. So I would say that accounting is the basis for business. And accounting and finance is not common sense. You have to learn it. A lot of business is common sense, but you have to learn accounting and finance like it's a different language. Okay, you have to learn it. But it's the basis for many different careers, be it an investment career, I mean a finance career, or a CPA, or someone that works in corporate finance, someone works in M&A, that sort of thing. The best way I can find you a career in accounting, my best go-to crutch answer is just to network like crazy. Okay, and download this book from my website, harounventures.com, on how to network. I promise you it helps you. Or what you can do is go to this web address here and take my complete job course or my MBA degree program. All my programs have 30-day, 100% money back guarantees, which means you can binge watch and get your money back within 30 days. I don't care if you want to do that, you can. Some people do that. It's cool. Yeah. All right. But remember, relationships are always more important than product knowledge. All right. And I'm trying to show that book a little bit less often because I have gotten complaints that I overdo it. I'm just trying to help. I don't know. I'm standing now, and you'll never see me sitting here in this office ever again because I got complaints. I sounded tired, etc. And what I'm trying to do with my posture, I'm trying to improve it. I've got this thing here on my back. It's called Upright. Okay. And you can get it on Amazon, I think 60 or 70 bucks on sale. But what it does is it vibrates every now and then if my posture is not perfect. My posture's been getting a little bit worse. I'm trying to correct it. You can correct it. And what Dr. Dion, one of my students, told me is you got to go like this, turn your arms around, and then just reset. You can improve your posture. I'm trying very hard to do that. And for those of you that use your iPhone or Android handset a lot, which is everybody in this call, of course, whenever, and I try to do this with my kids too, whenever you use your iPhone or Android handset, pretend you have a grapefruit, okay, underneath your chin here. Otherwise, we all become like this, right? So anyway, it's tough. It's tough. You can improve your posture if you want to. Yeah. I'm trying. All right. Okay. Next question is, do you have any books for bootstrapping? I don't really. There's not that many great business books to help you start a company. Probably the most important one is just general networking. There's one by Reid Hoffman, who's the co-founder, brilliant man, the co-founder of LinkedIn. It's called The Startup of You. I want you to read that one. Okay, it tells you how to network. And then he has another book that he co-wrote called Blitz Scaling, okay, which helps you to kind of bootstrap, start a company. Yeah. And if your product is not 100% ready, get it out to market. Just get it out there, man, because if you wait until it's perfect, it's too late. Because as Salvador Dali said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. right? And that's why there's this whole concept of the MVP. MVP stands for minimum viable product. Get it out there fast and then let the market guide you, so to speak. Kind of like that great Sting song, let your soul be your pilot. The market will guide you. The market will tell you what it likes and what it doesn't like through comments, through a lack of likes, etc. Just get it out there. When I released my MBA degree product, I didn't have a single lesson done, and so it was an MVP, right? And this was back in 2019, and then I built the whole thing quickly, obviously, but I was able to change it as I went along because of feedback I got directly from the marketplace. Yeah. Okay. That's a great thing about doing social media is you get instant feedback. I stand now. I don't sit ever because people complain. They said, "Chris, you're sounding tired and all that stuff." And so, fine, screw it. Let's do it. As Sir Richard Branson said, I got rid of my chair. There's no chair in my office. I'm always going to be moving around, a lot more energy. And I found that I got twice as many likes, humbly, on this weekly webcast as I usually do because of that. So, the market's always right. Like with the stock market, the market's always right. Okay, great. And I can see in real time when the number of views goes down, right? So right now we're at 53 concurrent. If it dips based on my answer to a certain question, I change immediately. I pivot and I move on to the next one. Yeah. The market's always right. Okay. Next question is, Pratik wrote, I just completed 200 subscribers. It's not a big achievement, but I'm still very, very happy. That's awesome, man. Very, very cool. Congratulations for doing that. Amazing. Yeah, no, very, very cool. Yeah, it takes a while. Like you got to be resilient. And I think everybody needs the vlog. Everybody needs to do it. And if you want, what you can do is you can go to my website and get my latest course for free, actually. The course is, and I will get these pedals right eventually, folks. Get down my knees here. All right. But I have a course here on my website, and it's how to vlog, right? How to do YouTube. So just go to harounventures.com. And then what you can, and by the way, all this stuff on my website, what I do is I have these little widgets I plug in. So there's no code here. I just license this from another website. Yeah. All this stuff, right? Like this too. This is from another website as well. All right. But if you scroll down on my website, harounventures.com, here it is here. It's called How to Vlog, and it's free. So you could come here and get that course for free. Yeah. All right. But I really do. I forgot to brush my hair back there today. Whoops, in the back. Okay. I really do believe that YouTube is a gold rush, and you can all profit from it. Okay. And YouTube is the only gold rush in history where it costs you nothing to make the product. And YouTube is also the only gold rush in history where you got immediate access to billions of potential customers for free. And this is the golden age of YouTube content. I think everybody should be on YouTube. Everyone should vlog. Don't strive for perfection. Just be you, because people love you for being yourself. You know what I'm talking about. If you're up there on stage presenting and you make a mistake, or you're just being you, people love you more for it because you're real. That's why reality TV is a big deal. That's why it's called YouTube. You be you. So YouTube is a gold rush. I think every little video I make, and I do it because I love doing it, and I've vlogged for almost 1,000 days in a row now. It's cray, but I'm never going to stop. But each video I make, I think of like a little coffee shop. It's like a franchise that pays dividends. And it's starting to work humbly as well. I have some videos that have made a lot of money. I have one, for example, which was just a vlog on Motley Fool. Somebody asked my opinion. It was 3 minutes. It's made about 5K so far. Right. But so these are little franchises that cost you nothing to make. Right. And you all have the best fishing rod ever in your hands right here, your phone. And that course I just showed you, my How to Vlog course, basically, I used just my iPhone as I was walking through Barcelona one day when we were allowed to travel 8 million years ago. Yeah. We live in interesting times, eh? All right. But everybody needs to vlog. Okay. And you can take that course of mine for free on how to do it. All right. But it takes time. It takes time. Yeah. But you just got to say, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. I'm coming to the table every day. I'm going to release content a lot. I don't care what people think. I don't care. Otherwise, you'll never make it. And the same thing goes with like the Beatles, for example. And I'll never compare myself to them. They're unbelievable. But their early stuff wasn't really that sophisticated, right? And their earlier records were in mono. George Martin was not producing them, right? And there wasn't as much depth or breadth to it. But their later stuff was perfect, like Abbey Road, Sgt. Pepper's, etc. And so you'll look back and think, oh my gosh, my early stuff wasn't that great. But you got to start somewhere, and you got to tell yourself, I don't give a damn what people think of me. I'm just going to be me and do you. That's why it's called YouTube. Okay, next question. All right, next question I've got here. Give me 1 second. All right, and I try to finish this every day. Okay, and I'm inspired by Christina, one of my wonderful MBA students. And this will have the times on the side as well. Okay, so I know I will get that right eventually. Those pedals. So I've got the time right here. So I should right now it's like 9:30. I think I'm at 9 a.m. So I'm behind schedule. So I'll keep drinking. Yeah, but we are 60% water. Water is more important than food. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got Noman. And Noman is asking, I've had a few interviews with a well-known company, 3 hours in total. They even told me that they are fast in giving feedback because they care, in brackets you put there, or in quotes, but they ended up ghosting, I guess meaning not contacting you yet. Should I tag them on social media? No, don't do that. No. What I humbly recommend doing is you email each person that you interviewed with, okay? And in the email, you make it really, really simplistic. You say, hi, hope all is well. I enjoyed meeting with you. Regarding our conversation, I did a little bit more research on topic X, and here's a great article from whatever publication, or here's a one-page PDF I created for you that will help you with investments or operations in your company, whatever it is. And just know that in business, people are motivated by 3 things. They want to make more money, they want to get promoted faster, or they want to enjoy what they do. So think about those 3 things and see how you can help them with one of those 3 aforementioned criteria here. And you can take my complete job course here, go to this web address here, or take my MBA degree program where I have many more templates than my individual courses on how to add value to people after an interview, meaning what do you send them? And so if you add value and help them, by sending them articles or one-page write-ups you wrote to help them make money, save money, or get promoted faster and enjoy their careers, if you help them, they'll help you in return. It's this whole give and receive mentality. It's been true and prophetic since the beginning of time. And so if you reach out to them and send them a one-page PDF that you wrote up, as I mentioned in my courses, they're going to love you for that. They're going to love you for that. You don't even have to ask them in that email, remember me? Are you still going to hire me? They'll remember when they get the email. You're like, oh yeah, I got this email from this guy. Really, really helpful. He did this write-up for me. Oh yeah, this is the dude that we interviewed before. Let me call HR and see how that's going and get back to him. Add value. Yeah. All right. All right. But yeah, tagging people on social media is tough when you're interviewing. Be really, really careful with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The worst is when somebody tags me and asks me a question about one of my courses. I usually don't reply because I'd rather people ask it within the courses. Yeah. Okay. And then Pratik wrote here, Chris's MBA program is very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Pratik is my brother, by the way. I'm just kidding. No, Pratik's one of my wonderful students. So he wrote, his program is very good. Thank you. I really gained a lot of knowledge and was able to ace a very thorough interview with the tips that Chris gave. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. The check is in the mail. No. Thank you. God bless you for that. Thank you. All right. Shock Rollo saying, hey, Chris. Hey, Shock Rollo. Hope you're doing well. What are your thoughts on piracy? Yeah. And then you wrote here, should you pay for something you can totally get for free. I'm taking everything books. I'm talking about everything books, movies, software. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's theft. Like it's when I was younger, I was taught, don't go into a store and steal candy or a book or whatever it is, obviously. And doing that digitally, it's the same thing, and there's 10 rules that we live our lives by, or at least a lot of people do. There's several wonderful religions where the basis is 10 rules. And one of them is thou shalt not steal. And I really do believe that if you're downloading stuff that you shouldn't be accessing, that's just like, it's stealing. It's stealing. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm completely against it. Yeah. Completely against it. Yeah. Yeah. And on YouTube, I have a lot of people that will take my content and repurpose it. And I have takedown notices as well. Yeah. A lot, actually. Yeah. 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 And on websites like Udemy, they actually do it themselves. They have algorithms. They have crawlers. They find out who's actually pirating courses, torrents, or whatever it is. And they go after them. Yeah. 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 And be careful of that stuff too. If you're guys going to share that sort of, just be careful, because there are entities at work that can it works against you. Just don't, it's not worth stealing ever. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Next question is from Rudy. Rudy, who has an insurance startup, is saying, and one of my MBA students, thank you, is saying, I also think like you when I go to sleep about my morning coffee. Yeah, dude, I'll go to bed every night and I'm like, I can't wait to wake up to have my morning coffee. Right? I get one coffee a day. That's all I get in a sippy cup here, spill proof, because I spill my coffee too often. And I did it live on the air a while back. And yeah, the back of this book, it's ridiculous. Like, coffee everywhere. Yeah. That's my drinking problem, folks. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up, Noman is saying there's peer pressure amongst young people on buying Bitcoin. What do you say? Yeah. So I personally like to buy investments when nobody else is. Because if you think about it, in general, if you buy something that everybody else already owns, and this is extreme, just to try to make a point here. If you buy something that everybody else already owns or loves, there's not that many incremental new investors to buy it and push it higher. And so, as Warren Buffett said, you need to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. The best time to buy stocks or cryptos or any investment asset class, the best time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. And I know that sounds harsh. Reminds me of that old Doors song called Peace Frog. But you want to buy when there's blood in the streets, because that's when you get the best return. You get assets on sale. And Warren Buffett once said, this is fascinating. So Buffett once said that the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Think about that. Selling something that you love because it's lower in price. It's moronic. It really, really is. So you got to buy when others are freaking out. Always be a contrarian and watch your net worth take off. If you buy investments when everyone else loves them, you're never going to make a fortune. You got to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy, which of course the sage of Omaha, Warren Buffett, talks about a lot. Yeah. All right. And always do your own research. Never rely on anybody. My goal, humbly, is to provide you with a number of arrows in your quiver, or framework, so to speak, so that you can decide what investments make sense for you. Don't listen to me when I tell you what stocks to buy, because I never will. Don't listen to other people when they tell you what stocks to buy, because they're biased. Like when you watch an interview on television of somebody telling you about a company, if they work at the company, if they're the CEO, they're biased. That's why a CEO is a great salesperson, right? And the same thing with anybody interviewed in television telling you what stocks to buy. They might own it themselves. Yeah, they disclose it even sometimes, but they're good salespeople. That's how they got in TV. Always do your own research. And when you start looking at an investment, start by asking yourself this one question. In 5 years, is this company going to be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? Then start doing the research, okay? because that way it'll stop you from being a tourist. It'll stop you from just renting stocks. I think if you're a long-term owner and you ignore the volatility, you'll do much, much better. I don't know the path. But I know the destination. Okay. Next question is Kartik. Hey, Kartik. Kartik is asking, do you have any tips on improving your voice? As many people have said to me that I have a monotonous tone and sound like a robot. This is causing a lot of concern to me. Okay. All right. A couple things. And earmuffs, I'm going to swear, and I rarely do. You should never give a fuck what anybody thinks about your voice, the way you look, anything about yourself. You're perfect the way you are. And one of my favorite songs is by India Ari, and it's called Video. God made you perfect the way you are. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Okay. Now, when you're presenting in general, what I recommend doing is only present and only do a business meeting when you're in top, a peak state of mind. And you can get there immediately by just thinking about what point in your life were you happiest. And so for me, there's many instances, but one thing that always gets me into a peak mental state, so to speak, right before a presentation is I think about September 2015. My three sons, Andrew, Matthew, and Dylan, we were watching on television the Blue Jays game and a baseball game. And Jose Bautista hit a home run to basically win the game. And he flipped the bat, and my kids went crazy. They jumped all over me. I was so happy, right? And so that gets me into a less monotonous mode as well. And people complained about me, actually, over the past few months, that I was sounding somewhat tired and monotonous when I was sitting down. So I basically move around because motion creates emotion, okay? Motion creates emotion. So you can get out of that rut too. Like when I used to interview, what I used to do was I would record myself, okay? Back in the 90s, I would record myself answering at least 100 questions. And when I answered the questions, I listened to my tone as well. Did I sound too monotonous, or did I sound too arrogant with the inflection in my voice? Okay. So you can beat this, you can practice and just listen to yourself. And delivery is key because, as Maya Angelou said, people might not remember what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. Practice makes perfect. Just record yourself answering questions. Practice, you can do it. But I think you're perfect the way you are. All right. All right, next question is from Noman. And if I miss any questions, just paste it again, please. I answer the questions in the order in which I receive them. And also, if you paste in an internet address, YouTube blocks it for some reason. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up, Noman is saying, have you ever thought about WW3, meaning World War III, for the geopolitical environment and economic situation that is going on around the world? Just a curiosity. Yeah. I don't think of it that way. Yeah. There's a famous Chinese proverb or quote, which is, I'm going to butcher it, but only focus on the things you can control and ignore everything else. And when it comes to my career or extraneous events, this is just me, okay? But I tell myself that I never worry about anything because God already knows what's going to happen. That's just how I am. And I'm grateful to God for my failures in hindsight, because they weren't failures. I was just being guided down a different path. Okay, and read the book of Job for more details if you want. I went there. Okay. All right. All right. And you got to be careful of the media, dude. If you just watch television and listen to the news, like there's fear. Like everything is breaking news. The world is ending. Turn the idiot box off. The television's the idiot box. Yeah. Just ignore it. Yeah. You'll be in a much better mood too. All right. And Harsh wrote here, how many books do you read? I don't really read very much right now. I don't. I don't. So I just don't have the bandwidth or the patience anymore. When I do read, I listen to audiobooks. I might listen to something from Gary Vaynerchuk or some autobiography. And by the way, for those of you that want to make it big in business, just follow your business idols and turn your idols into your rivals. Listen to their audiobooks. If they have audiobooks where it's an autobiography, if they read it, especially like Sir Richard Branson, who oozes positivity, or listen to their biographies if they didn't write the books themselves. Use their blueprint for success. No point in reinventing the wheel. Okay. I used to have a lot more. Dude, I used to sit down and read Ken Follett and Jeffrey Archer books, like one every day or other day, whatever it was. I loved it. I just don't have the patience anymore to read. I don't know. Yeah. All right. The internet is kind of rewiring our brain, which is a good thing because we know how to get access to a lot of information quickly, I think. Yeah. All right. Next up, Naveed. Hey, Naveed is saying, hi, Chris. I've recently used Gallup Strength Finder, and I got the following results. Can you please provide some wise tips to improve on these? Number one, learner two, idea. I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Like I guess that's kind of like Myers-Briggs test. Yeah. 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 And I would ignore a lot of those tests. Because you decide who you are instead of some tests decide who you should become. Yeah. That's just me. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then next up, Alan wrote here, DeFi is decentralized finance. Okay, I see what you're saying. Give me an example and I'll be happy to answer that question for you. Hassan is asking, sometimes I feel very, very hyped and I get a lot of work done. But on the other side, I also get too lazy that I don't get anything done. Can I get some advice on how I should keep myself consistent? Yeah. Two things. Number one, failing to plan is planning to fail. So I recommend having every single day a schedule for what you're going to do. Okay, except on the weekend, you'll drive yourself nuts. You can go to my website to download a free schedule at harounventures.com/schedule, all lowercase, schedule. Okay, schedule each day the night before, always. You'll get more done because if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. However, don't do it 7 days a week. Otherwise, you'll burn out and drive yourself nuts. I recommend also taking your breaks. And I burned out recently too. I did. I feel like a hypocrite because I talk about taking breaks and I worked too hard recently. It won't happen again. But take off at least 1 day a week, right? And in the scriptures, God created the world in 7 days. 6 days, and then He rested on the seventh. And He did that on purpose to tell us, hey, you got to take your breaks. So religiously, whether it's you take, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday off, you got to do it. A lot of my friends that are Muslim, they'll take Friday off. A lot of my friends that are Orthodox, they'll take Saturday off. And for me, I'm Christian, I take Sunday off, right? And the consistent thing there is you got to take 1 day off a week or you'll burn out. It's the best investment, a great investment in yourself and in your family as well. A time for you to be able to reconnect with your family and friends. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, question is difference between a direct listing and is it different from an IPO? Yeah. So when you think about an IPO in general, think about a syndicate, meaning a group of investment banks getting together like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, UBS, etc. A syndicate of investment banks getting together to take a company public, right? And there's a lot of money at stake. And the reason you hire many investment banks is because they have distribution channels all over the world to high net worth investors, and more importantly, to big institutional money managers, meaning pension funds, mutual funds, insurance funds as well, and hedge funds, of course. Yeah. Versus direct listing, which doesn't involve as much of all that stuff I just mentioned. Yeah. All right. Hey, Rita. Okay. Cool. All right. And Kartik is writing here. How can I migrate from India to the United Kingdom or Canada Is an MBA not the best option for me? Would it not be difficult to find a job there? Yeah. So the best way I think to migrate to another country is as follows. Let's say you want to work. I'm going to make this up. Okay. Let's say that you want to work at the Royal Bank of Canada in Toronto. Okay. Well, what you can do, because that's a global firm, is work for the Royal Bank of Canada in your country. This is just an example. Okay, and whatever offices they have there. Do an exceptional job, network internally, and eventually, if you're good, and you will be good if you work hard at it, what happens is you end up getting promoted and they move you to the mothership. The mothership is the headquarters. Use that blueprint for whatever country it is you want to live in. It works. Okay. All right. Ashira is saying, hey, Chris, hey, hope you're doing well. And then Ashira's question is, how do you deal with spoiled, overprivileged students with attitude problems, if you've ever had any? Yeah, yeah. And how do you deal with those people in general? Thanks. Yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. I gotta be careful what I say here. No, screw it. I'm going there. I don't care. All right. So there's this school I used to teach at during the evenings. I work in venture capital during the day. And I taught at a bunch of universities during the evening. I guest lectured at Stanford Business School a lot, Berkeley, San Francisco State, as well as Halt. And of those schools, my favorite school by a mile is San Francisco State. Yes, there are students that are wealthy that go to that school, but there are some students that are poor, smart, and hungry. I love them. And that's why I do what I do. I love them. I want to help them. Maybe they were born with a crappy set of cards in life. I want to help them. You know, and a lot of my great students that reach out to me from San Francisco State University when I used to teach there, you know, they have deadbeat fathers. I don't think there's such thing as a deadbeat mother. Yeah, and they don't come from wealth. Some of them do, not all. Now here's the part where I've got to be careful. I don't like. Okay, I'm not going to mention which school, but you could probably guess from those three I mentioned earlier. I don't like teaching at those other schools because I do get a lot of entitlement there. Like, you know, like students will get into these schools, and a lot of times they'll get in only because, pardon me, their parents are big shots, whatever. You know, it's not a meritocracy, it's nepotism. And they'll feel really entitled and the world should come to them, right? I hate entitlement. I hate nepotism as well. You know, I believe in survival of the fittest, and I believe that everybody has an opportunity. And that's why the current university system disgusts me, like what happened at USC. And also, why is it that very, very rich people or wealthy people, why do their kids go to these great schools? Did they really earn it? Sure, a lot of them did. They worked hard. I got it. But a lot didn't, right? And I think it's ripe with fraud and scandals. Yeah. So in terms of how do I deal with that sort of thing, spoiled, overprivileged students, I don't focus on them at all. You know, I want to focus on the students that are poor, smart, and hungry, yeah, or smart and hungry, but they really want to work hard. Yeah. Okay. All right. But you know what they say with family-run companies, the first generation makes the money, the second spends it, and the third has nothing. Yeah, they lose it all. Yeah. All right. Next up, Mercy is saying, Chris, you recall so many details accurately. Thank you for my students. Well, I love my students. They are why I do what I do, and I'm grateful. Yeah. And as a teacher, I humbly treat my students like they're a customer. Imagine that. A teacher treating a student who pays for things, pays for the product like they're the customer. That's the way it should be. It's the way it should be. Yeah. But so Mercy wrote, you recall so many details accurately. I've been growing the yoga company. That's right. You started a yoga company. And so Mercy is based in Victoria, British Columbia, the west coast of Canada. She started a great yoga company that's sponsored by Lululemon. And I am, proud Canadian. I'm wearing my Lululemon. I have like 8 million of these that look identical. They're great. Lululemon. I love it. I love it. You got to be cozy when you teach, right? And in business in general. And the great thing about Lululemon is you'll buy a shirt or pants or whatever it is. And then you're like, oh my God, this is so well made. I didn't realize there's a pocket here. Yeah. Yeah. So Mercy, who is sponsored by Lululemon, wrote, we have, my yoga company is on Zoom. It's been growing steadily. Great. We have 14 classes per week. Awesome. And I've also branched it out. I apply your guidance, and your MBA practicality got me going. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Mercy. It's great to hear from you. So Mercy's one of my MBA students as well. Yeah. She's got a heart of gold. Yeah. And she knows more about finance than her brother does, right? Yeah. Just kidding. No, I'm not. All right. All right. Next up, Harsh wrote here, how can I be an expert in an industry without working in it? Like, I want to start a business. I've never worked in an industry like chemicals, for example. Yeah. So you can take a lot of online courses to learn the basics, but you really do have to practice it. And instead of being a jack of all trades and a master of none, you really got to focus on just one thing and be good at it. Now, the way to start a company in a sector you've never worked in, it's hard. It's hard to raise money. If you get experience first at a large multinational or a big company, whatever, that focuses in chemicals, for example, let's say Dow Chemical or DuPont or whatever it is, or BASF, German company, if you work at one of those aforementioned chemical companies, or a smaller one even, for a number of years, that gives you much more credibility when you go to try to raise capital for your startup. Yeah. Okay. All right. Osama is saying, "Hey, Chris, how are you? I'm great, thanks. Great to see you." I have another student named Usama. Starts with a U though, from Jordan. He's a class act, great guy. And Osama Hassanan, actually, I know out here in the Bay Area as well. He's a very successful venture capitalist, Egyptian, moved to Canada, just like my dad. Although they don't know each other, but small world. And then he moved down here as well. Good guy. So Osama B wrote, "How are you? I'm great, thanks. Every day I'm teaching is a gift to me from God. Thank you, God, for giving me this ability to be able to reach out and learn from so many great students. When one teaches to learn." So Osama's question is, I just started your class on cryptocurrency, and I love how you teach. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so for my complete cryptocurrency course, which you guys can check out right here if you want to, I was really disillusioned. Like when I started that course on cryptocurrencies, it took me 6 months to do. I worked really, really hard on it. And at first, I was a 7 out of 10 positive on cryptos. By the end, I was a 3 out of 10. I think most cryptocurrencies are an absolute scam. There are so many scammers out there trying to take your money. But I do believe that a handful of cryptos are wonderful investments. I've owned a bunch for years. I'll never sell them. Yeah. But I had fun making that, thanks. And I prepared so much for that course that what I did was I hired this guy. I will never tell you who he is. I hired this guy to proofread everything. And he was so good, right? He was so good that the NSA came to my door. They knocked on the door and they came in and they asked about this person. And they never told me why, but I'm pretty sure it was because they were looking to hire this person. Because at the core of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is different security protocols, many of which were created by the NSA, the National Security Agency in the United States. Great. Now they're watching this webcast. I'm screwed. I'm just kidding. But they, the core of a lot of cryptocurrencies is security protocols developed by the NSA. So the NSA developed SHA-256 and SHA-1 as well. And of course they can, I'm sure they have ways around those too. I'm going to shut up before I get in trouble. I don't want them to knock on the door again. All right. Next up, Pratik is saying, how should a teacher be? So I think that, and then you wrote here, follow up, what qualities should a teacher have? Yeah. I think that the best teacher, the best manager, and the best parent should all have one core thing in common. They motivate and build the confidence of their students or their children or employees. Because the most important thing anybody can teach you is self-worth and a sense of confidence. Because with confidence, you can accomplish anything. With confidence, you can sell, and you can sell something that sounds so boring like cloud computing and make it sound awesome like Mark Benioff does, for example. You know, with confidence, there's nothing you can't do. It's true. So I think the most important thing a teacher can provide students is confidence, not talking down to students, building them up. Okay. You're most welcome. So Pronto is saying thank you for, yeah, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. Okay. Question from Pronto here is, I want to thank you for mentioning the Blue Yeti microphone the other day. It was, I was the coolest dad by gifting the Blue Yeti microphone to my daughter on her birthday. She's a big YouTuber, so she was really ecstatic. Awesome. Awesome. Very, very cool. Awesome. It is a great microphone. It is great. One thing I would do next is if you want to improve the quality of the audio or tell your daughter how to improve the quality of the audio in her room where she does Zoom calls or YouTube calls or whatever it might be, what I would do is make sure you have curtains on the window that are double-sided. And these curtains here you can get from Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll show you a non-production camera angle here. Yeah. So these things here, they're double-sided, right, to keep out the light and the sound as well. They're $20 each. I don't have it perfectly all the way over here, but it's fine. I think you guys get the idea. What you can also do is you can put blankets on the wall, which is what I've done, and also up top here. And let me turn on my happy light here, see if this will work. Yeah. So what you can see up top is there are these special tiles that you can buy. Double enforce them though, because if you have a fire or a candle and they fall down, you could start a fire, that sort of thing. All right, let me just turn off this light. I look like a ghost here. Albino. Okay, cool. All right. And ePronto is saying, now to my questions, of which I have many, but I'll stick to 2 today. Sure. Ask as many as you want. I'm here for you. Thanks. My first question is, what is your opinion on investing in country stocks that may not provide as much return as you can get elsewhere? Yeah. Well, there are certain reasons why you would invest in your own country. For example, even if you can get better returns elsewhere. One of the main reasons is because in a lot of countries, their retirement savings program, which is a government mandating retirement savings program, like the 401k in the United States or the RRSP in Canada. But a lot of times, these retirement savings programs, there are rules that you can only save money and let it grow tax-free if you invest a certain percent in stocks in your country. Okay, so that might be one of the reasons why you would invest in lower performing, as you mentioned here, stocks in your own country. Yeah. But I would say to try to be global in nature and be very diversified. Have stocks in many different countries, first world countries, second world emerging markets, for example, as well. And also have bonds, commodities, real estate, and the most important investment, which is your house or your apartment. And you can go here and take my complete personal finance course or my MBA degree program to learn much, much more about portfolio diversification and risk management. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mercy is right. Earlier, I was showing you guys something, and I was down in the corner. I think I was down in the corner here. And I said, nobody puts baby in a corner. And I said, what movie is that from? And Mercy, who's from Victoria, a fellow Canadian represent, said that is from the movie Dirty Dancing. By the way, this floor here, it cost me $20. I put it together. It's just these stupid tiles, but they're cushy because I work out in this room sometimes too, and I teach. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question is from Pratik, who's saying, how should a leader be? Yeah. I think a leader is somebody that instills confidence by motivating their employees or whoever it is they're managing. I think the most important thing you can build up as a teacher in students and as a leader, of which I'm not, but as a leader, is confidence. With confidence, you can accomplish anything. And I remember back in the 1980s when I grew up in Canada, I remember the cover of Time and Newsweek magazine was the downfall of the American student and how the American student is 50th in the world in math and 50th in the world in science, for et cetera. And I see those reports all the time. And then finally, I came down to the United States and I was teaching during the evenings. And I realized something. And this has nothing to do if you're American or not, because 50% of my students and 50% of people in the Bay Area here were born overseas. I realized something. American students, regardless of where what country they're from, are number one in the world in the most important economic category that nobody talks about, which is confidence. And with confidence, you can do anything. You can sell ice to the Eskimos, being Canadian. With confidence, you can sell cloud software, something so boring you can't see, feel, or touch, and make it sound awesome, like Mark Benioff does. And so the bottom line is, I think the most important thing that a leader or a manager can instill, or a teacher, is a sense of confidence. Same thing with a parent. And just remember, nobody is smarter than you. Okay. Yeah. All right. And I believe so strongly in that no one is smarter than you. I'm just going to fix the window here. That nobody is smarter than you. That I actually licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association a Steve Jobs video with that topic. No one is smarter than you. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to put my big stop sign here to stop the light. All right. Good enough. Okay. Next up. ePronto is saying, I would never invest in commodities or weed stock. I'd rather invest in Israeli innovation companies to support my country of origin. Or do I get this all wrong about investment? Yeah, and this is a follow-on to your earlier question about investing in your own country. Yeah. Well, there's tax mandates as well. Like, for example, I used to invest a lot in Israel. And I remember I invested in a company called Checkpoint, ticker CHKP, and I met the brilliant founder and CEO, Gil Shwed, a number of times. And one of the many reasons I invested in that company was not just because it was a great company and a leader at the time in firewall security back in 03, 04 when I invested, and a little bit after then, but because also in Israel there's a special tax mandate whereby they only pay 11% tax, meaning Israeli companies. Kind of like what Ireland has, but Ireland is now 11.5%. Right, so that kind of helped the bottom line a lot. The same thing with Amdocs, ticker was DOX, which is a telecom software company. When I invested in Israel, a lot of great companies there. Yeah. And when I was there, the summer of 2017 with my family, we went everywhere. So much fun. And Christine, my wife's family, is from the north part of Israel, in a town called Haifa. Yeah. But when Magic Eye was bought by Intel for like $30 billion. It was amazing. A lot of amazing technology innovation there. Yeah. All right. But I look globally. I don't just look at investing in American companies. I look everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, okay, if you go to Haifa, you have to eat at Christine's family's restaurant. It's called Abu Christo, which is Greek for son of Christo. Yeah. Because Christine, my wife, her mom's side, they're from Greece, they're from Santorini. And what happened was there's this awful volcanic eruption many, many years ago. And a lot of people in her family passed away. And they got in a boat and they ended up in the north of Israel. So you have to go to Abu Christo, the best Greek food you'll ever have. I am biased. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And by the way, I got to go there. I have a student in my MBA degree program right now, and he's awesome. He loves Kiss, the band. And so he wears this T-shirt that says Kiss, K-I-S-S, all the time. And Gene Simmons, who's one of the founders, of course, of Kiss, he's Israeli. And so the name of the band, Kiss, those S's actually are Hebrew for L, Lamed. So the band's really called Kill, but everyone called them Kiss. Yeah, it's cool. What a great band. Okay, cool. All right, next question from ePronto is, what would you say the main performance indicators for ETFs are I speak a great deal about individual stock performance indicators, but some of it are not applicable to ETFs. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, when you're looking at stocks, you can look at various valuation methodologies, price earnings, price revenue, TCF, yada yada, all that stuff. The way I look at ETFs is basically it's like a plug. So if I have excess money and I haven't done enough research to buy individual stocks, I'll buy ETFs, right? I'd rather own an ETF. For example, the SPY, the spider. SPY is the ticker for the S&P 500 ETF, which is 500 stocks that represent the U.S. markets. If I have excess cash, I'll put it into that, for example, rather than just letting it sit in the bank making hardly any interest at all. Yeah. But when you look at ETFs, what you want to do is you always want to look at the the expense ratio, and the best way for me to explain this is to actually is to show it. I will get these damn pedals right eventually. I will label them. I've got 7 pedals today. I'm trying to push the envelope. Oot. Okay. So let's go over here and let's do an example together. So let's go to finance.yahoo.com. Okay. All right. And you want to look at the expense ratio always and make sure it's low. Okay. So for example, the expense ratio on the S&P 500, the SPY is 0.08. And you go here to profile, and then you look here at the expense. Oh, it's 0.09. Sorry. 0.09%. That's pretty low. And it's amazing because that's the fee you pay every year to own this. It's nothing, right? And if you owned a mutual fund that kind of represented the S&P, you'd be paying a couple % in taxes every year as well, because mutual funds turn over their portfolio a lot and you get kind of screwed from a tax perspective. So that's what I would look at, is right here. The second thing I would look at, ePronto, that's your name, right? ePronto, yeah. Is I would always look at the liquidity. Okay, so make sure that it's liquid enough. And obviously this is, because illiquid stocks own you or me. Illiquid stocks own us in a down tape, and not vice versa. So the way to do that, we know, is we go here to the average daily volume, which is 70 million shares. Hey, Susie. And then we multiply it by the price. So yes, very liquid. Can we get out in one day? Of course we can. So look at that. Yeah. Now, other ETFs that don't trade as much are going to have higher fees. So the EWZ is for Brazil. Okay. And EWC is for Canada. Z is for Brazil. Okay. So this ETF, because it doesn't trade as much, right? It's still very liquid, but the fee is going to be higher. So we go to profile here and we see the fee is very high for an ETF, 0.59%. So the bottom line is that I would always look, when it comes to ETFs, at the annual expense fee as well as the daily liquidity. Make sure it's liquid enough so you can get in and out if need be quickly. And you also want to go and read the investment prospectus. Yeah, never invest in anything without reading the investment prospectus. Yeah. I forgot to brush my hair back there today. I cut my hair myself, and so I showered last night and I cut my hair. I do it in layers, and I think I screwed up here. Yeah, I'm trying something different. I'm getting older, so I'm getting a little patchy here, but yeah. The older I get, the better I was. All right, next up here. Oops. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, and guys, I'm going to take a really, really quick break here. I'm going to show you a video I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association from Steve Jobs. Very, very short. Okay, hold on 1 second. Thanks.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it, that's maybe the most important thing. is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
Okay. Next question is from Pratik, which is, what legal stuff should I do before starting a nonprofit organization or an NGO? Yeah. So I'm not an expert in 501c charities, but what I recommend doing is talking to a lawyer. Now, the best way to do it is go to LegalZoom.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody, nor will I ever be. I represent my students, and my students only my customers. I'm not sponsored by LegalZoom, but go to LegalZoom.com. I use them a lot. Okay, and speak, and you can get access for $15 to a lawyer, right, for a half-hour call per month. Not bad. They speak really slowly, though. Sorry, dude. I've gone like 2 hours though. Any dad humor today. It's not bad, but that's what I would do. Yeah, and so I have one set up with a brilliant man, one of my students. Named Vital. He's one of my MBA degree program students. And so we've done it. It's actually him doing the heavy lifting. And he actually is registering it in Germany. I'm just giving him money and raising money, I should say. It's called projectmagoo.org. Now, anybody can set up an ORG, okay? Anybody can do it. But anyway, this is it not working anymore? Oh, here it is here. So it's kind of slow. Yeah. So this is Vital here with Project Magoo. What we're doing is we're building. We have a GoFundMe as well. We're building schools in Rwanda. And maybe what you can do is you can send a message to Vital if you want to, and ask him how he registered it in Germany, what he's doing with it and all that stuff. He's an expert in that area, not me. Yeah, he's a great guy too. I love him. All right, and we're going to do great things together. Okay, next question is from Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Daniel wrote, Chris, I love your passion, energy, and dedication to helping startups and entrepreneurs. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you. I love doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And it's about time, man. I thought I was clinically depressed. Like I would change careers, go from, consulting to Goldman Sachs to hedge funds to venture capital. And my happiest day was always day one. Always. And then it went downhill. And I thought, my God, am I clinically depressed? And the reason why I wasn't happy is because I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. And now I've never been happier because I do what I love, which is teaching. I just love doing this. I do this on my vacation. My whole life is a vacation now. And I want all of you to have that same feeling too. Once you find what you love doing, as Confucius said, you'll never have a job for the rest of your life. And the feeling you get every single day when you're doing what you're passionate about is this feeling, right? It's like capturing lightning in a bottle. For those of you that have kids, remember the first time you held your kid. Do you remember that insanely great passion and love and happiness you felt in your heart? A certain happiness you never thought you could feel. You never had that feeling before. It's like a legal drug. It's unbelievable. Now, obviously, having a kid is much better feeling than starting a company. It's nothing more important than having children. But there's a little bit of that, a little bit of lightning in a bottle. That same feeling you get when you're doing what you're passionate about. Okay, that's when you know you're doing what you're meant to be doing on this earth. Mark Twain said the two most important days in your life are number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. And I humbly believe my purpose, my passion, is to help you figure out your why, career-wise. Okay. All right. Pratik is saying, how can I focus well and remember everything I study? I have a very important exam in May this year. It's not so difficult, but I need to memorize stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a great hack for you. A couple things. So when you wake up in the morning, pardon me, the first hour, you retain a lot more information when you study, right? Because your brain is fresh, right? You gave it a lot of oxygen. It rested overnight. So that 1 hour in the morning is worth like 10 hours at night, right? Productivity wise. So get up an hour earlier and study. That's what I used to always do. That 1 hour in the morning is crucial. Another hack I have is this, okay? So I walk at least 20,000 steps every day. And I find that when I'm walking, I get a ton of work done, okay? Because I'm bringing oxygen in my brain. I'm going to show, I'll go off script here as always, not like I have a script. But I've got here this, so I've got this stand-up desk here. Let me turn this here, see my messy desk here, okay? I've got this stand-up desk here. And then what I have is underneath it, I have, keeping it real, good. I've got a walker, okay? So what I do actually is I get 20,000 steps in a day. See, I'm walking here. This is me walking. And I do a lot of my one-on-one calls as well when I'm walking, right? And I have a timer as well for office hours here. But for my students that have one-on-ones with me or anybody in business, I'm always walking while I do it, right? So I get all my steps in here. I know it's crazy. I'm walking sideways here just to show you. But the desk I got, and again, I'm not sponsored, is from fully.com, Fully.com. It's one of those stand-up desks. And this walking thing here is a couple $100. It's a cheaper walker because there's no bars on the side, right? So anyway, but I find that I'm able to retain a lot more information because I'm taking in oxygen in my brain. And when I was younger, I used to go to the gym, 24-hour fitness or whatever it was, and I go on the elliptical trainer, and I would do a lot of reading on computer or whatever it is, or an iPad 2010 after it came out. And I was able to retain a lot more information. So I think that if you walk while you're studying, you can retain a ton more information as well. Yeah, and you'll always be in that peak mental state. Always, yeah. All right. Okay, and then Pratik wrote here, your new course trailers are very amazing, especially the music. Can you please tell me which is the music in it? Yeah. So let me first of all give credit to my amazing chief creative officer, Matt Lacus. Without him, the quality of the studio and the videos would suck. He's awesome. He's amazing. Yeah. And so what Matt does is he uses a website called Storyblocks in order to get access to all this stuff. And I'll show you. And this is what I do, which is why I pay for it. But you go here to storyblocks.com, okay? And you can get a subscription for music, videos, yoga, I guess now, music, videos, images, right? And so when you go here to music, audio, you can search by mood. It's amazing, right? And so what you do is you could search music and select your mood. So I don't usually do this one. So I love inspiring, okay? I've selected my moods, okay? Then what I do is you then select what kind of instruments you want. I like classical and cinematic, anything that sounds like Hans Zimmer. And if anybody's watching from Germany, thank you for Hans Zimmer. Okay, show all instruments. And then what happens is you can download music from here. Now, when you download music, there's two file types. There's MP3 and there's also WAV. Never use MP3 because that means compressed. Use WAV. It's better quality. So let's see what this sounds like here. So let me click here to check this out here. Right, that's a little bit slow, but I did select ambient, right? So let me see this one here. All right, we'll try one more. A bit slow, but very, very cinematic. I love that. Oh, I'm getting shivers just thinking of it. So then what you do is you select, I'll go here so you can see it under my face, Wave. You download it, and now you've got it royalty free. Okay. So anyway, that's how it works. Now, if you're curious about what music I use, there's plenty of apps where you can say, hey, SIRI or whatever, ALEXA, I don't want to tip it off for you guys. Who sings this? That sort of thing. Yeah. I think it was Apple bought SoundCloud for that. Yeah, years ago. Yeah, yeah. I was once on a panel, and there were a couple of people in the audience asking tough questions, and one of them was kind of a dick. And so I did this. This is terrible. I said this. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 2:30 a.m. So I'm so sorry if anybody's Siri started talking to them then, but yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see what I got next here. All right, next up, Kartik wrote here, is there a way to buy individual courses in the MBA degree program? Not at this point, but we are looking into it. There's 5 main parts to the program. We're looking at doing individual ones, but it won't be for a long time. But if you want, you can take individual courses of mine, and the individual courses, none of that stuff is in the MBA program. Everything is brand new recordings. But you can go here to learn.harounventures.com. Take it if you want. Within 30 days, get your money back. Watch the whole thing. Binge watch if you want. Your call. Okay. All right. Next up, dummy indices. Hey, DI. DI wrote, hi, mentor. Hey, how are you? And then DI is saying, how can standard deviation of stock prices be measured for risk? Doesn't it depend upon the net worth of the individual, also on the amount of investment in a particular stock? Yeah. So when it comes to risk analysis, people like to use statistics. I don't agree with it. One standard deviation basically means 67% of all points. 2 is like 98, and then 3 is 99, whatever it is. I don't really look at it that way. You can look at variance as well, VAR or VARR if you're using Excel. I think it's kind of a waste of time to do that. The way I look at risk management is I look at a portfolio, and I teach this in my complete personal finance course and in my MBA degree program at this link in much, much more detail. But I look at sector exposure, geographic exposure, vertical exposure, and stock exposure liquidity-wise as follows. It's hard for me to summarize hours and hours of portfolio management stuff I teach. But the bottom line is this. I usually don't like to have more than 20% of a portfolio, investment portfolio, meaning outside your house and your house investment and apartment investment. I usually don't like to have more than 20% in stocks, 20% in bonds, 20% in commodities, 20% in REITs, 20% in X, right? And this is alternative asset classes. Okay, it might be venture capital, hedge funds, whatever it is, right? And then within each subsector, for example, stocks, I don't like to have more than, say, 5% of that 20 in any one particular sector, like tech or industrial stocks or financial services stocks or whatever it might be. Then within that 5%, I usually like to have at least a handful of companies so that no one investment is more than a couple percent roughly of my net worth. I also like to look at geographic exposure as well. Okay, so that I'm not just investing in first world countries, but also emerging markets like BRIC or BIC. Yeah, which Jan Hotzius, who's an economist at Goldman I worked with years ago, he came up with this notion of BRIC: Brazil, Russia, India, and China. But for me now, it's Brazil, India, and China. Yeah. So I'll look at sector exposure, also look at country exposure, and I'll look at liquidity as well, because illiquid stocks own you in a down tape instead of vice versa. Meaning, does a stock or investment class trade enough so I can get in or out if need be in a given day, right? And I'm not a trader, I'm a long-term investor. And when I look at investments, I love to look at fundamentals, then valuation, then technicals in that order, right? And be careful with technicals. Like, only look at them after you look at the 2 aforementioned categories, fundamentals and valuation, then technicals. And please don't trade. Don't be a trader. Last year was a one-off. Right? A lot of people they want to invest because they made money last year. It's like they wanted to trade daily. It's like saying, I went to a casino once and I made money, so I'm going to do that over and over again. Be a long-term investor, please. Okay. All right. All right. Next up is Rawlings. Hey, Rawlings, it's been a while. I haven't seen you here in a while. I hope you're doing well, man. Rawlings wrote, I'm glad to connect today. Likewise. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. Next up, Marwan is saying, I was lucky enough to get almost all of your courses. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've studied Introduction to Valuation, plus picking stocks as a pro, plus the business planning course. Should I study the other courses or start the MBA program right away? I would start the MBA program because the MBA program is all new stuff, all completely up to date and in much, much more detail as well. And there's a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. So you got nothing to lose and everything humbly to gain. And also with the MBA degree program, you have access to it forever. It works on all form factors. I've recorded it so you can watch it on an Android device, an iPhone, a tablet, a laptop, a desktop, a television, whatever it might be. And I've also made it available so that all of the workbooks for all 100 classes, each class is 3 hours each, about roughly. Okay. The workbooks for all classes are in 3 different file formats: Microsoft Word, PDF, as well as Google Docs. Why 3? Because I want the total addressable market to be massive. And regardless of what type of device you use or applications you use to take notes or do questions, whatever it is within the program, I got you covered. Okay. Thank you for your support too. Okay. All right. Next up, Jesus. Hey, Jesus, hope all is well. Jesus wrote, Dear Chris, I'm enrolled in the MBA program 2 weeks ago with the incredible opportunity that you gave. Thank you. No, thank you. On 5% of it so far. I really like it. It's gold worthy. I'm really engaging it and happy. Thank you, Jesus. God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And then you wrote here, on the MBA, meaning in the program, is there something related to debate methodology, like how to present an idea and defend it? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, definitely. I teach you also how to take a weakness and turn it into a strength as well. Yeah. And that would be in the personal growth track. So there's 2 places you want to look there. You want to look at the first semester in the personal growth classes for the interviewing stuff. And then in the second semester, you want to look in the SMC track, that's sales, marketing, and communications, for the presentation stuff as well. And then in the third semester, in the first 5 classes of the third semester, in entrepreneurship 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's when you do the venture capital boot camp, which teaches you how to present your business model to potential investors to raise capital. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Next up, the Hung Lee is saying, hey, Chris, thank you for being such a wonderful human being. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Quick question. Are you still running the extraordinary deal? I'm laughing because that's Chip Patterson, right? You were doing Chip. Oh, I love that. Okay. So Chip Patterson is one of my characters who works at McKinsey. And I have one of my videos about that. Yeah. You wrote, you're still doing the extraordinary deal. All access past your courses for $99 a month. I am. And I have to show you Chip Patterson really, really quickly. I worked really hard on what I'm about to show you and had a lot of laugh at me, not with me, folks. Okay. So let me see if I can do this correctly this time. Whoops. Almost put myself in the corner. Actually, what I'll do is I'll get rid of myself. Okay. Yeah. So the Chip Patterson, there is actually, yeah. So what you can do, go here to Haroun Ventures. Yeah. If you, let me just X this out here. If you scroll down, what you can see, here it is here. This is all access subscription package. It's 20 cents per hour of content on a month. This is $99 per month. You get access to everything there. So check that out if you want to, please. And then in terms of, I have to, and by the way, this application I'm using right now here, it's called Wirecast, but there's a free version called Open Broadcast Software, or OBS, which I teach you in the course as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the Chip Patterson video here. It kills me. But all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to go there with you because I'm an idiot. Hold on. Let's go here, and let's do a search on my channel on right here. Sorry, on Nintendo. So Apple buying Nintendo. Okay. Breaking news. Oh, it's killing me, folks. Doing this live, I'm an idiot. I'm probably losing 8 million viewers now. Okay. All right. Oh, no. The reason I can't is because this is a schmuck. This is that bastard that's copying my accounts. That's not me, right? And so I've got a detective and the police force here in Hillsborough, California, shutting that guy down. Okay. I know a lot going on here. Let's go to my channel here. Okay. This will be worth it. But if I go here and I do a search on Apple buying Nintendo, let's go to Nintendo. Sorry about the delay, guys. Here it is here. Apple buying Nintendo. So let me show you just part of this here. I'll show you Chip Patterson. Hello, my name is Bob Burgundy from Haroun News Network. That's HNN. And I've got breaking news for you. It looks like technology behemoth Apple is trying to buy Nintendo. Breaking news, breaking news. I don't know if the deal will go through. I have to ask a number of our strategic advisors here to help us out to find out if this deal, in fact, will go through. And so the first strategic advisor that I want to ask is an expert in economics management and strategy. He works at a consulting firm called McKinsey, and his name is Chip Patterson. Chip, what are your thoughts? Yes, thank you, Bob, for that introduction. This is an extraordinary deal, and I think it might make sense, but I'm not really sure yet. And so, here at McKinsey and Company, we pride ourselves on advising the most incredible companies and government agencies in the world. And so, by the end of this MBA degree program, my fellow classmates here will help me to analyze if this extraordinary deal makes a lot of sense or not. Thank you, and cheerio. Thank you, Chip. The next expert. All right, let me pause that and go back to, let me shut this down for bandwidth reasons. All right, thanks for your patience there. That was fun. Yeah, yeah. So as part of the MBA degree program, there's different characters. I have multiple personalities. Yeah, I wrote a poem for my wife for Valentine's Day. I said, roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic and so am I. Yeah. All right. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, next up, Mercy. Wrote. I went to Boston for a campus visit at Harvard Law School, like I would get in. You're quoting me what I said earlier. Yeah. That's when I wanted to be a lawyer, man. And then I went to go these law schools and sitting on class. I was like, why? Why did I want to be a lawyer? Why? You know, are you a jerk, or do they teach you how to become a jerk in law school? Yeah. Not a big fan of lawyers. Unless you're a civil rights lawyer, then I love you. And that was my problem when I was younger. I would focus on how to change careers, and I've changed careers a gazillion times, and how to get a job. But I never asked myself, why? Why do I want that job? Why do I want to change careers? That sort of thing. So always ask yourself why before asking yourself how. All right. All right, next up, the Hung Lee is saying, I have another question here. What are your thoughts on impact investing and ESG funds? Thanks in advance. Yeah, if I ever have the opportunity to invest in a company that does something good for the environment, and it's equally as good performance-wise as another investment, I'll obviously choose the one that's good for the environment. You know, it's kind of like a lot of people would say, I can either buy product A or B. They're identical. Well, where is A made? Oh, A is made in my country. I'll buy this one. Kind of like that. Yeah. But I'm careful about that too, because when I used to manage my own hedge fund and money for other people, I always had a fiduciary duty or a fiscal responsibility to represent their interests, meaning you got to focus, number one, on returns, and number two, ideology. I like to do both, though, in tandem. So for me, for example, you'd never see me buying Philip Morris or Altria, ticker MO, or Philip Morris. I can't remember the ticker is these days. But anyway, because of cigarettes. You'll never see me invest in Juul. I might short it, happily. You'll never see me invest in marijuana companies. It's just me. The whole world is like, all my friends are investing in marijuana companies. I just don't think it's right. I like it for medicinal purposes. Yeah. Just me. Hope I didn't upset anybody there. All right. Next up, DI is saying, I just read a book by Robert Hadstrom called The Warren Buffett Way, where Warren Buffett expressed skepticism on CAPM. Oh, I agree with you. And CAPM stands for CAPM, Capital Asset Pricing Model. Okay. And basically what it means is there's something called the efficiency frontier, where you pick tons of stocks and then you're diversified. But I think after you pick more than 20 stocks, it gets kind of tough to really diversify a portfolio much more than that. Plus, CAPM is so theoretical based; it's ridiculous. It's like trying to disaggregate or learn the mathematics behind Black-Scholes. It just don't go there. Yeah. And the problem with business schools in general is they're so theoretical that I think that you got to apply real life practical concepts or I give you a lot of arrows in your quiver, so to speak, instead of teaching you how to apply theory, right? Yeah. Theory is like, have you ever used a supply and demand graph in real life? No, unless you're an economist. Yeah. So Warren Buffett expressed skepticism on the CAPM model on account of efficient market hypothesis. Yeah. Is there any other model? Yeah, I don't. Basically, what CAPM is and the efficiency frontier is basically, I'll summarize a lot of mathematics in one comment. Pick more than 20 stocks and you're diversified. Yeah. And Paulo wrote here, "Hi, Professor. I'm here from Chile." Hey, Paulo, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, man. Excellent. And years ago, I met with the management of LAN Airlines. I think they're from Chile. Great company. Yeah. Hope you're well. Yeah. Okay. And I was showing Chile to my son Dylan on a map. Dude, that must be the longest country ever. That's dope. Very cool. Yeah. Best oceans too, right? You got the best coastal views too. Next up, Mr. M. Andrews is saying, "Hey, Chris, you taught us those three important words. I don't care. Sit if you want to. Share your book if you want to." Okay, no, thank you. I appreciate that. And that was earlier on. I was talking about a book that people are criticizing that I'm hyping too much, but it's free. And you said sit if you want to. So I'll do this for you right now and for me. And thank you for that. I love you. And my middle name is Andrew. My son's name is Andrew. I'm going to sit because I want to. So I'm in the corner. This is my networking book. You can go to harounventures.com and download it for free. It's free. I promise you it'll help you change careers and get anything you want in business, because relationships are more important than product knowledge. Hey there. Yeah. And your network is your net worth. All right. That's fun. It's the first time I've literally sat down my office in weeks. Yeah. But you'll never see a chair in here ever again. Whoops, wrong pedal. You'll never see a chair in here ever again. Yeah. And I can do the moonwalk too. Watch this. Hey? I'm having fun. Teaching is fun. All right. Next up, Kartik is saying, "Hello, Chris. I've also struggled with posture." Yeah, and I was talking about that earlier. And it affects my confidence. Yeah. And Dr. Dion, one of my students based in Beijing, notice I didn't brush my hair back there today. And I cut my hair yesterday and I forgot that spot there. But yeah, she told me that you want to turn your arms around like this and then set it down and reset your posture. Okay, so I'll show you another angle. You can do it. So again, you like this, turn, reset your posture. Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to work on it. It's getting better, actually. You can do it. You can do it. Carpe diem, seize the day. So those are my tips right there on posture. I also have something else that's really nutty. Screw it. I'm going to show you. So I love to biohack and take a lot of risks and try new things. Please talk to a doctor first. But I bought this product right here for my posture as well. It's called Iron Neck. And I've got on the ceiling here, I'll show you. I've got bars on the ceiling up top, and each one is drilled into a stud, and each one of these things here, I can literally, hang from the ceiling if I wanted to. I'm everywhere here. Each one can hold 200 pounds. So I've got this hooked up to one of the bars, and this thing, and it's got an air pump. Okay. And then what I do is I put it on here. Okay. And I pump up the air in it until my head is completely surrounded with it. Let me try to get a better angle. Yeah, this is better. Yeah. And then I put the chin strap on, and then there's a bunch of exercises I do. And people use this for rehab, but I'm doing this for posture as well and to build up my neck as well. I got into a car accident years ago, which I'm glad happened because it changed a lot of things about my life. But there's a bunch of exercises I'm doing with this. Again, it's talk to a doctor first. I had one of my students help me out with this. I have actually a lot of my students are doctors. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I think you can improve your posture if you practice, right? There's certain exercises you can do. But Dr. Dion Vernon, who's one of my wonderful students, actually, check out her LinkedIn profile. It's the best. Dion Vernon, she said that go like this, turn and reset. Okay, so and do that 10 times every hour, right? So I'm trying to do that, and hopefully it works. I'm trying, and I also wear this Upright Go product here, which vibrates whenever my posture is not good. But it's getting better, and it will continue to get better. Yeah, you can change. You can change. And geneticists have been studying bees for decades, because bees, what happens with bees, it's out there, is a bee is a normal bee, and then based on its thought processes is out there and what it eats, it turns into a queen bee. All bees can change into a queen bee if they want to. So I think that diet's important, and I biohack a lot. Carpe diem, seize a day. Okay. All right. And also another thing about your neck. So one thing I've learned, so I got into a car accident years ago. Again, I'm happy it happened because it kind of changed my life in a good way. With crisis comes opportunity. I think therefore I am. But I learned, I did a ton of research. Your back has always got to be straight, aligned with your neck. So for example, always think of it like when you're doing exercises in the gym, always be aligned, right? Your spine, always be aligned. I also have a Posturepedic pillow that I use and I take everywhere because my back. But even when you sleep, you have to be aligned with your neck. Yeah. So anyway, working on that. All right. Next up here, Mr. Nobody is saying, hey, Chris, a quick question here. Does your silver MBA program contain that 100 steps Microsoft Excel to pick stocks? It does. It does. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I designed that for my students. We cover that in the fourth semester in the finance and accounting lessons. Okay. You can go here to to sign up for the the MBA program. Yeah. So silver, we also call it the on-demand program, the silver version. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next up, Mercy is saying for posture improvement, one has to, and Mercy, by the way, she's one of my MBA students. She's great. She's from Victoria. And she runs a big yoga empire. She's amazing. And she has, Lululemon is actually a sponsor as well. She does that over Zoom. So I respect your opinion. You're saying for posture improvement, one has to do several back bends. These are of different types. Yeah. And Dr. Dion, one of my MBA students, Dr. Dion Vernon, she provided me with those as well. And those steps actually, and this is not the right angle to look at. This is not a production angle. But I wrote down here 10 exercises on the door. It's tough for you to see from the lighting perspective that I do. I do a lot of exercises to try to improve it. Yeah. And that product I just showed you guys, by the way, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, it's called Iron Neck. So, but I experiment a lot. I biohack a ton. All right. Okay. You can't reverse aging, but you can slow it down. I'm trying to do that as well this year. If it works, I'll let y'all know. Okay. All right. Next up is Kartik, who's saying, is there a book which lays out step-by-step guide to startups because I can't find any? Yeah, no. No. And failing to plan is planning to fail, which is why I think that before you start any company, you have to write a thorough business plan. You can take my course called the Complete Business Plan course by going to this website here, okay, where I provide you with 50 templates. Or you can take my MBA degree program where I go into much more detail with an enhanced version of that. In the third semester of 4 for my MBA degree program, we do a venture capital boot camp that helps you a lot because failing to plan is planning to fail. If you want to learn about business by reading books, the only thing I can recommend in general is just listen. I like audiobooks. Listen to biographies and autobiographies of your business idols so that one day you can turn your idol into your rival. Because what they do is they put their cards down and they tell you how they made it. So why reinvent the wheel? You can also get inspired by listening to their best practices as well on audible.com or wherever you get online books from, audible books from. Okay. All right. Next up, hey, Peyton, how are you? Peyton's one of my amazing MBA degree program students. He is going to be a YouTube superstar. I've seen a couple of his videos already. They're unbelievable. He's just getting started. They're funny as hell. He's great. He's self-deprecating, an excellent communicator. Peyton is currently in the Navy, based in San Diego, and his wife is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, I think. Yeah. But if you want to watch Peyton's videos, they're funny as hell. So Peyton, Payton, and just go to 9:22 a.m. in this stream for his last name, Kleiwahea. Hysterical, great videos. Use him as a role model. I think he's going to be huge. And so Peyton wrote here, I'm on vacation with the family, just saying hi, and then bye. Excellent. Enjoy. And I think your son, Jackson, right? You brought him on the call last week or a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Excellent. Have a good one, brother. All right. Next up, Cuban Media. First time I've seen you on the call. Welcome. I hope you join again. Cuban Media is saying, hello, Chris. Do you plan to update the spreadsheets for financial analysts? No, everything is, I future-proof all my courses, right? So everything is as is, doesn't need to be changed at all. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Aria is saying, hi, Chris. Hey, hope you're doing well. Excellent. I'm smiling because I'm thinking of Game of Thrones and that awesome character. Okay. Kartik is asking, do you have any plans to update your Udemy courses and make irrelevant changes, if any? Yeah. So I monitor it closely. I'm very humbled to say and proud that we have the highest feedback ratings we've ever had so far. And we are making changes if needed. Yeah. But they've all been pretty much future-proofed. So unlike technology courses, so if you teach how to code Python, for example, or how to create iOS apps, you have to update those all the time because things change quickly. But business doesn't really change that quickly. Certain things might change, like new social media platforms become relevant or in vogue, so to speak, in which I'll add those to my MBA degree program. So my MBA degree program is always up to date with the latest weapons in your arsenal or arrows in your quiver, so to speak. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Andrew Dupree is saying, present. Andrew, I hope you're well, brother. So Andrew is based in Toronto. He's the inverse of me. I'm a Canadian living in America, and he's an American living in Canada. He's from Southern California. His son is the #1 basketball prospect now in Canada. He was my very first student ever get accepted into my MBA degree program. Andrew, great to see you, brother. And it was great meeting you in person at University of Toronto, Mississauga campus a few years ago. All right. Next up, Samurai 6. What a dope name. I love that. Samurai 6 is saying, why are you doing these? Content is good, but why no views? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I mean, there are views. Yeah. If you're asking about the number of people, so we get about 800 people a week watching this. And so I've got a massive email distribution list. But I used to email people every single week. And then about 6 months ago, I stopped, and I'm only emailing about 5 to 10% of my email list. Yeah, so it's smaller, but you want to do that because what happens is if you have a massive email list, and I have a massive one, right? It's huge. Like every time somebody downloads this book, they provide their email address, and they can always opt out from a GPDR perspective. Okay. But if you email everybody weekly, right, on a blast email, what happens is Google has an algorithm, and the algorithm tracks what the open rates are. And if the open rates are low, what happens is your mass email goes to spam, okay, and people don't see it. And so what we're doing is we're experimenting a lot. I've got a great company called Ziggy Media that's helped increase my revenues 300% year over year. It's been unbelievable by only emailing a targeted number of people. And so the number of people on this weekly call is lower now, but that's okay. It's manageable growth. But the returns are much, much higher in terms of per sub opening up each individual email. The email platform we use is called Active Campaign. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And I do get that sometimes. People say to me, you know, why do you only have like 40,000 subscribers or whatever it is now? I don't think about it. It's not a job for me. I enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up is, and I do get sponsorship offers all the time. I turn them all down. Yeah. Yeah. So it's manageable growth. My student is my customer. I don't care if I have one person on this call or a billion. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to humbly help if I can. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm hungry. All right. All right. All right. So Aria wrote here, I've got 25,000 subscribers on this account. It's kind of a big deal, even for me. That's great. That's a lot. It's great. Excellent. But the thing is, the kind of videos I make get copyrighted. And if I change my content now, I'm sure I'll lose subscribers. What should I do? Yeah. Yeah. So what I recommend doing, there's this amazing woman who I partnered with named Sasha Stevenson. And I created the complete YouTube course, which you can access right here. And Sasha Stevenson has over 100 million YouTube views on her channel. I met her here, I think on week 10 or 20, whatever it was. She was one of my students here, or just on the call. She took my courses, and she reached out to help me with my content. She's huge. She's huge. She is a rock star on YouTube. So take my complete YouTube course. I co-teach it with Sasha Stevenson. She has over 100 million views on her channels. And she teaches how to think about different sub-channels. For me, I just have one channel. That's all. It's just me. Yeah. But you can have multiple YouTube channels if you want to. Yeah. But I don't think I'm the right person to talk about that because I don't have experience in that area. Yeah. But Sasha does. Okay. Next up, Mercy is saying, I'm watching your Udemy course, 40 tips on making an online course. Excellent. And that's a free course, by the way, for anybody that wants to teach online. I have 2 free courses on Udemy that will teach you how to teach online. One is called 40 Tips on How to Make an Online Course. The other one is called Another 40 Tips. I'm not very creative. Another 40 Tips on How to Make a Great Online Course. Those are 80 tips in total based on 80 failures of mine teaching online. So you can work smarter and not harder and save money as well. Check it out if you want to. And so Mercy, who's from Victoria, West Coast of Canada, one of my MBA degree students, is saying, I'm watching on Udemy your course, 40 Tips on Making an Online Course. I'm teaching a 6-hour course about diet and hydration to strengthen nervous systems, to address multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and other, yeah. And then you wrote, I need tips. Yeah. So if the best tips I had are directly in that course. If you want your course to work out well, you got to be resilient. Okay. So for me, I had to teach a number of courses before one of them took off. Just be resilient and make sure you enjoy doing it. If it feels like work, it's not going to fly. You got to love doing it. Everybody's got something to teach. When one teaches, two learn. I got to start talking slower so I get excited here when I'm standing. But what I would say is for a course to get decent ratings, you need to impart a portable skill within the first 5 minutes of the course. Okay, like an exercise or something, if you can. Yeah. Also, your face has to be visible almost all the time. It can't just be slides because people want to connect with somebody. And as Maya Angelou said, People might not remember what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. So anyway, make sure that it's you teaching with your face and your awesome presence, Mercy, and also impart a skill that they can apply immediately to enhance their lives within the first 5 minutes or so. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up, Asanga is saying 2 questions. Number 1, what do you think of Excel as a spreadsheet software? And do you think Excel can be replaced in the future? If so, what is the closest tech that is the biggest competitor to Excel? Yeah, I love Excel. People only use about 5% of the features. The other 95% never gets used unless you're a statistician, a scientist, or a Wall Street guru, or somebody that creates financial models. I love it. I'll never switch to another package. It's the best. I love it. The closest competitor right now is Google Sheets. And thank God for Google for giving Microsoft competition, right? Because Microsoft was forced to give away Excel as part of Office 365. You can get an iPad version that's free or minimal subscription, yeah. But I think the closest competitor is Google Sheets, but I prefer Excel, yeah. All right, as do most people that work in finance for years, yeah. Next up, Akazan is saying, hey, Chris, I just want to say a huge thanks for everything you do. Thank you. My pleasure. I would be grateful if you could provide me an answer on how to best tackle the question, tell me about yourself. Yeah. So if you ever get that in an interview, all you have to do is think of your resume, okay, and go from the oldest point in your resume, right, historically, to the most recent. That's it. Right. And a resume has got 3 different parts to it, right? It should be 1 page only, which is what I teach in my courses. A resume should have work experience, education, as well as personal/other. So as you talk about all 3 of these categories, hey there, all 3 of these categories in an interview, when they ask you to tell you about yourself, you want to touch upon all 3 and do it historically from oldest to newest. Yeah. Okay. All right. And I teach you also how to answer questions like that in my courses, my MBA program as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next question from Asenga is it possible to do a virtual unpaid internship with Haroun Education Ventures? I lost my job due to COVID, and I'm looking to gain some experience that I can add to my resume. Very grateful. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that you lost your job. Times are tough. Tell you what, I'll give you my MBA degree program for free. Just send me a message over LinkedIn, and I'll look for your message. Okay, and just reference today's call, and I'll make sure to give you a 100% off coupon. Okay, yeah. Thanks. But we don't have any internship opportunities at this point. But we do hire every now and then. We're growing very, very quickly. Yeah, thank you. In fact, one of my employees I actually met on this weekly call. His name is John Klee. He's from Rochester, and I'm starting to ramp up the amount of work he does with us. He's great. Yeah. All right. All right, next up, Heathens Nations Music. How are you? Is writing, hey, what's happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. Have you talked about NFTs yet? I did earlier today. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And if you want, within 2 or 3 hours of this call being completed, what John Klee, who's one of my amazing employees who I met on this weekly call, but he works with me now. Within 2 to 3 hours of this call being completed, John is going to do a write-up. He's going to go to the description field of this video and enter in all the questions asked and when, so you can get clickable time code access to the answer to that. NFT will be one of them. Yeah. All right, and the time right now, I think we're out of time here. Let me see here. Yeah, we got 2 minutes left. We end at 11. Yeah, and then I've got MBA degree students office hours. Yeah. And then one-on-ones, which is why I have this timer here. I bring this thing down. I got 20-minute one-on-one timer, one-on-one slots. Yeah. Okay. All right. And dude, it is cold in here. Usually it's hot. All right, last question I'll answer here. And if you have questions I haven't answered, just copy them and ask me next week, please. All right. So Naveed is saying, hey, Chris, which is the best biography on Audible that you'd recommend? For example, there are a few from Sir Richard Branson. Yeah. So listen to every book from Sir Richard Branson, because he is one of the few business executives or pioneers that reads his own books, right? And so you can really feel his passion as well. The guy oozes positivity with those. In terms of other biographies, I would do definitely anything that Walter Isaacson has published, like the Steve Jobs one, for example. And he also has one on the innovators, which talks about the best. That's my alarm. Sorry, I gotta wrap this up. Where Isaacson talks about some of the best Silicon Valley pioneers, and it's kind of like one long biography. But basically, whoever your idols are in business, just do a search on Audible and listen to books about those people, so you can eventually turn your idol into your rival. Okay. All right, we're out of time today. Again, if you have questions I haven't answered yet, looks like there's a bunch, just copy them and ask me next week, please. God bless you all. If you subscribe to my vlog, I'll see you every day at 9 a.m., which is when my vlogs drop. Check out my courses, my MBA degree program here. I've got a 100% money back guarantee, 30 days, 100% money back guarantee, nothing to lose, everything to gain. And God bless everybody. And I'll see you soon. And thank you as always. Thanks.